And we're live. Welcome in, everybody. We're a minute right on time.
A minute right on time?
Kind of. We started...
What does that even mean, Chris?
We started the actual live feed went live right at 2. We started at 1:59:30.
What does nearly right on time mean, Chris?
Jimbo, Ghost Hunter, of course, Zamian, Jimmy the Saint, F-Man. How we all doing today? It's been a while, guys. I'm back. Hey, we're glad you're back. Colossal Meltdown, what's going on?
We're doing great, Chris, but the question is, how are you doing?
I'm doing great. Are we bringing Tuesdays back? We're bringing every day back. Tuesdays were already back.
Are we here? Because then the answer is yes.
Tuesdays?
What day is it? Because we're bringing that day back.
I think Mondays needed more help than Tuesday. Well,
I don't know, man.
I don't know.
I think Tuesday has skirted the issue for a long time. Monday's taken the rap, but Tuesday's been the culprit.
Because Tuesday's not close to hump day.
Tuesday's the day that makes you realize how far the weekend is away.
Well,
Monday you're still on your weekend cool down.
That's true.
Right? You got the weekend hangover on Monday.
Yeah.
Tuesday's the day where you go, oh.
Yeah, it's like, but for us it's kind of nice because
hump day is like.
For us, our hump days are great because we have Thursday, when then that's the last day of the week.
Speak for yourself.
For me.
Speak for yourself.
For the rest of the company.
Some of us work for a living.
That's right. He works hard for the money.
Dude, so hard for it, honey.
So, there you go. I don't know what else you want.
He works hard for the money.
How we all doing?
So you better treat him right.
Scorched Earth, we're doing great. Thank you for asking. I've been waiting for this all day. Hi, Jason and Chris. Richard, what's going on? Yo, yo, yo. Prinsky? I think I said that right.
What?
I'm bringing up this chat over here. Now we're set. Jimmy the Saint, what's going on? Fuzzsaw. Chaos Angel. Rattlecan, what are you doing over here on Twitch? You're supposed to be over on YouTube. You're confusing me now.
He's escaped. Who
Patrick, I know who you are. Chris, you're fired. I know you're over here on your Facebooks, your
face space,
your face spaces, and your hey, One Wolf Paints. Thank you for that sub. We appreciate it. 3 months, Chris. Avian says, Chris, you're not the boss of us. That is correct. That is factually correct. Jimbo says, I missed yesterday and was feeling the hobby itch. Glad I can make today's stream.
Awesome.
Hey,
good to see you.
I'm so glad you are with us today. The crew is off to Gen Con. If you're in the Gen Con area, this is a big week for us. It's the pre-release of Set 2 Pro Acryl One Step. Big week for all of you in the Indianapolis area and can make the show.
Chris, when exactly does the show open its doors?
Thursday at... That's a great question. Gen Con 2026... kids today.
What do the kids have to do about it?
The 30th, yes, at... What time do the doors open?
10 o'clock.
10 o'clock.
Maybe
That's
9
right.
o'clock, I don't know.
It is 10 a.m. Exhibitor Hall, Thursday through Saturday. There you go.
10 a.m., folks. Be there or
Thursday
be forever square.
Thursday through Sunday. What a big one. Little Billy coming in hot. Chris, speaking of Chris, you're fired.
Wait a minute. Chris just got here.
Zilfer. Little Billy, how you doing?
I was sitting around here all lonely today, and then lunchtime came, and Chris wasn't here. I had to go eat with Miguel.
Shout out to Miguel. What a great guy. How was your lunch with him? Pickled Jag. That's Mr. Jose.
It was Miguel.
How was that? Was it fun?
Yeah, it was good. Miguel was doing great. Had a good lunch.
He's a good guy.
I like our anniversary lunches because I always get to learn more about people. Sometimes I think they probably learn more about me than they wanted to know.
Yeah, he's Miguel's good people. He's a really good guy. Shout out to him.
No free pub.
No free. You're right. Look at me being kind and
no free pub for
Miguel. Scorcher says, sorry for a repeat question. Never apologize. I'm getting a lot of bubbles in my
Okay, wait. You can apologize when it's necessary. Don't listen to Chris tell you to never apologize.
Let me rephrase that.
Your significant other will hate that.
Never apologize for saying sorry for asking a question.
Yeah,
that's what I meant to say.
There you go.
I'm getting a lot of bubbles in my one-step, especially when adding the medium. How can I reduce/remove all those little bubbles?
If you're mixing aggressively, then that'll happen. Let it settle for a bit. You're fine. If when you're applying the paint, just try to do it a little gentler is what I would tell you. I get the bubbles whenever I'm really going quick and slapping it on the surface. But I will also tell you that they won't make a lot of difference unless they're in crevices. Right? If the bubble keeps paint from going into a low spot, then pop it with your brush. But just on the surface, they'll go away and won't mar the surface. At least that's been my as we've developed, that's been my thinking. Unfortunately, with this formula, I can't put any more of the defoamer in there. Changes the way the paint acts. So it's a happy balance right now.
Yeah.
But it usually is done from agitating it when you're stirring and mixing. And just let it settle a bit. They'll go away. And then when you paint it on there, make sure you have a lot of material on your brush and then just brush it on. Don't go in and take a lot of material off the brush. That will cause a lot of that bubble buildup if you're trying to paint with it like a normal paint.
Bubble buildup.
Bubbles.
Bubbles. I finished my third War Machine model last night.
What were you painting?
I was painting Midas. He's a piggy.
The pig?
Yeah, he's a solo.
Yep.
I think they're coming out with the Meat Grinder STL in August.
The big...
I think so, for the print that you can print.
Yeah,
I believe.
That's your big colossal.
Yeah.
Or gargantuan.
It's just a big
It's a big thresher with pigs riding it.
Yeah. Coyote Cousin, what's the biggest tip you would give to get the most out of one step? The set I won last week was on the way and haven't gotten around to trying them myself. Okay. What's the biggest tip you would give, Jason, to get the most out of one step?
Have you painted with filters before?
Good follow-up question.
Because I need to know what your comfort level is with painting with semi-opaque or translucent filters like I'm doing right now. Because I will tell you, if you're familiar with painting with filters, then the biggest tip is to, just do creative underpainting so that you've got a lot of good color foundation for putting them over, like we're doing here, and they really come alive. But it can just be black and white too, right? But I think that my biggest thing is don't be afraid to mix them, play with them.
Yeah. Prion Attack, thank you so much for that sub. And Coyote Clausen says, not a whole lot, but it's something I've been experimenting with in regards to filtering.
Then I think your biggest tip is to just start doing some zenithal highlighting on models and start putting color on them.
Yeah. Oh,
play, have fun.
What's this color you're using? Is this olive yellow?
No.
I love this color. Or is this
We did olive yellow yesterday.
What's this color? Is this the bronze yellow?
Yes.
Yeah, it looks good. Ogre says, so on the same lines, do you just slap the one step on thick and wick away what's not needed?
Yep. Yeah, when I'm doing base coats. Right now I'm more painterly with it because I'm putting it just on these bones and I don't want it to bleed off into all the surrounding areas, but I still have a lot of material on the brush. The brush isn't super damp and it lets it kind of flow around, but I'm making sure to hold the model where gravity doesn't let it, flow into spots where I don't want this color, things like that. But yeah, you just kind of when I'm doing armor and stuff, I've been just dolloping it on.
Yeah.
It works great.
This guy's looking good.
just for having base coats on them is not bad.
Yeah.
I mean, you're seeing the power of one step right here because I haven't done a lot. The black green is the only real paint that I've painted a lot. The dark flesh on the blanket here on the or leather on the saddle.
DJ Snazzy, these last few streams will be archived and reviewed for months and years for me. Loving the model and the style.
Awesome.
And you know what? In a good way, it's been very simple thus
Very,
far.
very, very simple.
You know, just putting paint where it's supposed to go.
Very simple. The hardest thing we've done is set up the zenithal with the red oxide and the warm flesh. That's literally the hardest thing we did, and it was just spending the right time to make sure that the red oxide and the warm flesh provided contrast and color in the right spots so that we could do what we're doing now. And then it's just going and filling it in. And notice how I haven't gone and blacked anything out. I haven't gone and painted over any of the spots. I'm just putting the one step over it and letting, if there was any white, blue, or darker colors on there, I'm just going right over the top of it.
Ogre says, how wet is your brush when base coating with one step?
Not very. You can, obviously, that's another question that I answer with a question is like, are you trying to dilute it? If you just want to use it the way it comes out of the bottle, just enough dampness to where you get a little shine on your hand if you put the brush on it. You don't want it to leave water behind. Otherwise, you'll be thinning it. But if you want to thin it, then yeah, you can go aggressive and have a lot more water on the brush. You'll learn. It's one of those things that's able to be dictated by your need for the color in the end. So one of the things I tell people is that we get asked a lot, like, how much moisture do I leave on my brush to do this thing? And I'm like, moisture on your brush is 100% a feel thing that comes from you once you've determined and understood that, you know, by having moisture on the brush, it helps the paint flow, but it also can dilute the paint and dilute its opacity and its viscosity depending on, you know, what you, if you're just using water, it'll do both. And once you get a hang of that, then you'll start saying that, okay, if I want the paint to flow better, then I'm going to need, you know, a little bit of dampness. But if I want it to dilute opacity, then I'm going to add more. It doesn't take a lot of water on the brush to get the paint to flow correctly. It's just barely damp, you know. And that's the way you see me paint, I don't know, a lot of the time is with just a barely damp brush. When I'm layering, basing, that kind of stuff. Then when I start glazing, then I'm obviously leaving a lot more water on there. Or if I'm painting with a particular color that I know is more opaque than I want to see it on the model, then I'll go in and do the same thing. Even though it might not be a real glaze, I might just want to reduce its opacity because I know the color, you know, like titanium white or coal black are very opaque colors. So I might just put more water on the brush for those just because I know they're going to have a bigger impact if I don't.
Hey, Dunbris, thank you so much. Shout out to Dunbris.
Holy cow, we got a car from you today.
Yes, we did. We got the Chevette. If you're interested, go check it out. I posted it in the Discord.
It's so awesome, by the way.
Thank you.
What a great model.
Yeah, Dunbris, thank you so much for sending that. We really appreciate it.
What a great model. It
what
is
an effort,
absolutely awesome. And thank you for the letter. It means the world.
Yeah, we really appreciate it. Let's go back up here. Swifter Bear says, to bounce off that question, I typically thin down transparent yellow and want to do a one-step blue transparent yellow transition. Would I need to thin down one step?
Oh, well, okay.
Let's go back up here. This one.
Thin down transparent yellow and want to one step blue to transparent yellow transition. Would I need to thin down one step? If you want to do a one-step blue to transparent yellow transition, you typically thin down transparent yellow.
You might need
I'm not really understanding. You say you thin down your yellow, you want to do a transition to one-step blue. Should you thin the one step down? Help me understand your question better. You're doing a transition. Why you would thin it if you want to have less impact of the color, but you don't have to, right?
Yeah, maybe clarify, Swifter Bear, maybe clarify your question for us.
Like for me right now, I just have a little bit of dampness on the brush so that I can get the color to flow because I'm not putting a lot of material on here, you know, because I'm just doing these little antlers. and I don't want the antler color to bleed out into the fur. So, so a little bit of dampness helps to make sure that doesn't happen, but not so damp that, you know, the paint starts bleeding.
Avian, he doesn't have a specific video talking about what levels of brightness needed for underpainting for one step, but we can explain it if you have a specific question.
It can be whatever brightness level you want. You know, on this model, we used
This model's pretty bright.
the red oxide
With the
and warm flesh.
Oh, warm flesh, right.
And hey, there's a model in there on the conference table that is primed. Could you grab it?
On the conference table?
Yeah. The rest of them are in the case, but there's one out there that's primed. If you grab it, then I can show people. Because the value is not very bright on this with just the warm flesh and the red oxide compared to like a model with black and white.
I see what you're saying.
Yeah. That way I can just kind of show it off versus like black and white. Right. So here you have, we did on Friday when we were doing these, you know, you have the value is centered on, you know, the red oxide, which is fairly dark. It's not, I wouldn't call red oxide a chromatic black. It's not dark enough to read as black, but it's dark enough to read as a good shadow color. And then the warm flesh over the top, and then a quick dry brush of white just to get detailing, right? So this model shows you the value. Now that looks like bright and it looks like a lot of contrast until you put it next to white and black. And see how immediately dull the warm flesh and the red look compared to the white and black. So, you know, I would say that for our shadow color, the red is like probably an 8 instead of a 10 like black is. And the warm flesh is probably, you know, or I guess the right way to say it, it's like a 2 instead of a 0 like black. And this is probably, the warm flesh is like an 8 instead of a 10 like white would be.
Yeah.
Got my numbers messed up.
Right? That's cool. Definitely can see the difference, though.
But you can see that you can do whatever you like. I knew that on a lot, not all of the models, but on the ones that had fur, I was going to want to do some white fur. So the bright slate gray is going to brighten up that warm flesh just because of the color that it is. So now I'm getting, you know, a pretty intense value out of it and without having to paint white underneath. And that for the darker colors, it's going to work just as well. I'm just not going to thin them at all, right? Like, so the dark green brown one step, I just put straight over it, just a little bit of dampness on the brush, the same way I'm doing with the olive yellow and the bronze yellow on all the bones. So it's a thing that you're going to decide as you go what you're trying to do, what you want out of it.
Morpheus, Jason, does applying filters help blend colors together?
100%. The colors that were already painted underneath it, yes. Yes, it can. Does it instantaneously? That depends. If you put too thin of a filter on, it'll show all of your rough blends and things underneath. So, but any kind of medium opacity on a filter like a glaze and such is how a lot of painters smooth out their sketchiness on their base layers.
Okay.
It is a old kind of hidden secret amongst pro painters that a lot of them will smooth their blends with glazes.
Swifter Bear. Okay, I think you've explained this. I'll let Jason read it once he gets to a place.
Give me just a little bit.
Yes, this is a War Machine model called Lord of the Hunt, Evan. Old Umbry. Old Umbry.
Okay, sorry. So I tend to thin yellow because it's really vibrant initially. You're hoping for more subtle tinting across the board, using one step blue as shadow and then transitioning to transparent yellow for highlights. So you're planning on putting the blue over everything and then yellow over just the highlight areas to make that green? Is that what your goal is?
Yes.
So I'm going to be honest with you. When working with, can that work? Yes. It is going to be a more blue-green because the yellow isn't going to have enough tint strength unless you thin the blue down. So if you thin the blue to let your pre-highlight show through more, then you'll have more of a, assume you're doing black and white, then you'll have more of the white show through the highlight areas. And then when you put the yellow, it'll be more yellow. So you can do it that way. But if you just want to do the model all yellow first and then do the blue over it, you could do that as well. Now, if you're trying to keep the shadows from appearing green, that may not be the way you want it. And so then you'd go back to the first. And you probably want to do the blue a little bit thin on the model and then do more blue in the shadow areas, but not on your highlights. Don't put 2 coats of blue over the whole model. Put blue over the whole model and then do more blue in the shadow areas where you want it to be darker. And then come back and do the yellow in the highlights. Now, when you say, do you want to thin the yellow, it's always better to thin than not to. Because with thinning, if you don't get what you want, you put another coat over it once it dries. If you don't thin it and put it on and it's not what you want, you're repainting, right? So that's why I always lean towards thinning more than you think is necessary. Especially if it's your first time playing with an idea or a color, then you can, if you put it on and like, oh, that's not yellow enough, just let it dry for a bit and put another coat over it and then it'll be more yellow. Remember, keep that in your mind locked away. That's the way you should think about all painting, is that if you're trying something the first time, thin it a little bit so that it won't have the impact that overdoes it if you're wrong. You don't want to thin it so much that when you put it on the model, you don't see any color at all.
Yeah.
But if you're going in, like, I don't know, like if I don't know that this olive yellow and the greenishness of it is going to be a great background for these skulls, then I probably don't want to put it on straight out of the bottle. I probably want to thin it down to see what the color looks like on there. And if it's not enough, then I put another layer on. If it's too much, then I haven't messed anything up. I can change it very easily because the transparency is controllable, right?
Yeah. Pronatech says, using regular Prochrome paints in the airbrush, does any medium work? Or have you found one that works better than AP medium? I know there's one-step medium. Just curious if you have any tips. Thinning for the airbrush, I bet, is what you're asking, Bron.
So, yeah, so it says airbrush, right? Mm-hmm. So when thinning Prochrome paints in the airbrush, when you watch us paint, we don't use any thinner for base coats, very, very rarely. When I'm using normal Prochrome, do I use any thinner for base coats? Because I just want vibrant color, so I don't thin it, and then I spray that way. When I start moving to midtones and I want to start doing blends and layering, then I start adding thinner, and sometimes it's just water. Water's the easy way, but it also reduces viscosity. So if you don't like your paint to be super low viscous or low viscosity when you're spraying because it spider webs out on you, maybe you're spraying at high pressure or whatever, it's not as controllable. Then adding like our glaze wash medium, or the one-step medium. They both work fantastic. We don't test our paints with other people's mediums, so I can't speak to that. It should work with anything that says it's for water-based acrylics, but some people do weird stuff, so I don't know.
And use less paint more often.
It's really hard once it's loud and wrong. Essentially, yes, basically. Don't do that. I need more bronze yellow.
Where is it? Let's see. Droth says, how do I financially recover from this hobby without addressing my pile of gray shame?
That's not the goal. Like, okay, so first off, when you set expectations, you have to visualize what completed looks like.
That's right.
And the expectation for the hobby is never to be done.
Why would you be done?
What kind of negativity are you trying to bring to my hobby right this minute? These are not your friends. We
don't allow that in this church.
These are not your friends. There is not a done.
If you don't have a pile of shame, what are you even doing?
Yeah, right?
Right?
Come on. We're here to support your pile of shame, not make fun of you. It's not shame, it's opportunity and potential.
Opportunity
and potential.
Little Billy says, real question, not a Chris insult. Do you think you can demo painting veins on wings?
Nope.
Working on a winged demon prince and started with a quidon, one step over zenithal. I wanted some more tiny details. Little Billy, no. No, we won't do that. So, there you go. I don't know what else to tell you.
I have some models with wings coming up from Old Umbry that will be really good to show that. The Strix.
Stay tuned.
Our chubby little owl friend, the Strix, is going to be fun to paint. That might be next.
How would you do veins, Jason?
Well, I can't just tell you that.
I think
that takes a whole process, so no, I'm not going to do it.
Jason,
so no.
Tell us verbally how you would do veins on wings.
With a brush. There, done. Thanks for asking, Chris.
What on earth is quidon? My mind is Swiss cheese, and I forgot. Avian. It's one of our many colors.
It's a pigment.
And it's French, so I just pronounce it the correct way.
No,
Kinghammer,
don't.
if you finish painting all your models, you die.
I feel like that's
Thank you,
close to
Kyle.
right. Yes.
Thank you for that wise wisdom.
Wise wisdom?
Wise
Isn't all wisdom wise?
I don't
That's
think
what makes
so.
it wisdom.
Wise wisdom. That is a great name for a wizard.
No,
Why
it's not.
wisdom?
No, it's a horrible name.
Why wisdom?
I'm going to need you
Lord
to
of the
stop
Hunt.
talking.
Lord of the Hunt 420. Hey everyone, hope you guys are having a great day. We're painting a Lord of the Hunt. I think Quidon was a Jedi Master, says Stan.
No.
Might have been.
Also wrong.
Would you underpaint wing veins? Underpaint.
You could.
And then do like a filter over it or something?
You could. Yeah, you can paint veining and then filter flesh tones over the top if you wanted to, or whatever wing web flesh color you want. You could do that. It seems to me to be a good start and not the expectation for finish. When I do that, I will do very blunt brushwork to get the initial sketch laid out, put the filter over the top, and then that'll create kind of a shadow of where the vein should be, and then you go freehand the veins over the top of it. So there you go. I said I wouldn't say it out loud, and I did, so there you go. Freebies.
Death Spawn says, when I have small parts, I tend not to want to paint them, because when I try to get a drop or a paint, it's way too much out of the bottle. Any tips? Just do like a little drop.
When you have small parts, you tend to not want to paint them because when I try to get a drop of paint, it's way too much out of the bottle. Any tips?
Do like a little drop.
So you mean like there's something on your model that's just one little part that you're going to do in one color and that's the only thing you're going to paint that color?
Yeah, and then...
Do you do it multiple models? Like are you painting a squad or is it on one model? If it's on one model, sometimes that's just the way it goes. Just, what you can do with our paints is, and I don't know about this, but with others you can do something similar, is let's say I pick a brown that I'm going to use, and when I open it up, right, I can just basically squeeze, rather than putting it out on the palette, I can just lightly squeeze until I see a little bit of paint that's going to come out. And then when I close the top, it has that wet paint on it.
Yeah.
And then you can just put your
there you go.
brush into that. Now you haven't wasted any paint. You'll get a little bit there, but you just wipe that off. But now I haven't put any paint on the palette. That's what you saw me do yesterday when I did these that are still hanging on for dear life.
Print, paint, repeat. I'll check it out. After stream, I'll give it a look. How you doing?
He won't.
I shall.
He won't.
I always do, Jason.
He won't.
I get many messages.
He won't. I just want to be honest with you people. He won't.
No, I will. Lord of the Hunt, I can use a dry brush to do some things that an airbrush does, ? I don't have one I don't have one would likely possibly do similar filtering if that's possible. Does dry brushing, can you emulate airbrushing with a dry brush?
No. Dry brushing will always give you a much heavier texture to it. Can you do things that look like good transitions anyway? Sure. Because it does apply paint in kind of what can look like a little bit more of a randomized splotchy pattern when we do what we would refer to as like smudge brushing. And it can give you a good blend of colors that from a distance, looks up to par with having airbrush probably. It is a good alternative when doing like large models and stuff to do your base coating with a dry brush. Like a domed dry brush so you can smudge with it. We've shown that off quite a few times, and that works well. You just have to set your expectations. It'll never be as smooth as an airbrush because it's not atomizing the paint and applying it like an airbrush does. There's just a physical component of how the paint is applied to the model that will make the airbrush pretty much the smoothest way to do it in one go. You can blend with a brush and you can work it back and do things to make it look super smooth with no airbrush. but it takes a lot more time. The airbrush just does it super fast, which is why it's such a great tool. Takes a lot of the pain of time and effort out of the base coat application that'll look so good. But if you don't have one, no frets. You don't have to. You could, I mean, we've only used the airbrush on this guy to do the underpainting, and none of the actual color you'll see on the model, other than maybe the red in the shadows, will be airbrushed at all.
Grand Deceiver, will there be new colors added to the main PA range this year?
I don't know about this year. We do have another set of colors, expansion set 5, that will be coming early in the year next year. Possibly at Adepticon we might save that. Or we might do expansions 5 and 6 at the same time. I don't know. We have more colors coming for sure. This is the year of One Step, so. And because of the way One Step works with the normal line, don't fret on, you know, the fact that they're one-step colors. They're just kind of built-in filter colors, but they are fantastic for just painting with, like you see me doing here. So you can treat it like a release in the main line, because they're not just, you know, contrast paints. They do so much more.
Missed the stream when y'all started the base coat for the fur. Is that a single color shadows from the details, or was each strand clump painted separately to get the contrast?
No, it is just a base coat of red oxide on the model. The model was painted red oxide, and then it had a pre-highlight, a zenithal of warm flesh done over the top to give it that initial contrast. And then everything else you see is just created by either letting the red still show or not.
As a longtime Vallejo paint user and someone that is still has plenty of them on my rack, would One Step Medium work with these?
Yeah, should. We don't test it with them, so I can't guarantee that every color works exactly the way you want to. But yes, it's just an acrylic medium. It should work with just about any water-based acrylic paint.
Here's the question that probably has been asked. Okay. What is Jason's favorite green to use as a shadow for a red base color?
Green? Is that what the question is? Mm-hmm. My favorite green as a shadow for red. Probably like dark camo green. Our dark camo green primer is fantastic, and the same dark with the dark camo green normal paint. I think those are probably my go-tos. I'm gonna go ahead and do these claws this color too. I'm liking the way this looks, so we'll keep with it here. Black green you can use if you're doing it like you see me doing, because this cloak is just black green right now, but it's black green over a zenithal, and so kind of using it like a one-step paint only because I thinned it, right? So I applied it in kind of a heavy glaze, I would call that.
Yeah. And
so you can see that the black green takes on a really nice green that isn't as yellowy as the camo green if you treat it that way. So it can be a great base coat. But I'm a big fan of dark camo green. Dark yellow green can work really well. But I think dark camo is the right way to go.
Absolutely, Avian. Dark camo green is really dark. It's so awesome. Zilfer, dark camo green is great. Does Jason exaggerate the values of your underpainting when you know you're going to apply a filter on top of it?
100%. Great question. Yes, we talk about it a lot. In order to set your model up for success, you need to make sure that you go brighter than you really would ever go when doing a filter, because what happens when you put the filter on? You darken up the base layer, right? No matter what you're doing. Even a filter of white will desaturate your base layer, and, basically, when I say darken, the overall model may not darken up. Like if you glaze white, the model doesn't darken up, it brightens. But whatever was under it tends to darken up because it fades into obscurity. And so you want to go brighter, create more contrast than you need in order to make sure when you put the filter layer over the top, it stays.
Oh, Anakin Skyhumper, thank you for that raid. Welcome in, Raiders.
Hello.
We appreciate that, Anakin.
Streaming.
Are you streaming? That's great.
Well, he rated, so he'd have to be streaming.
That is. I didn't know this. Anakin Skyhumper.
Why are you singing his name? That's very, very scary.
I guess that's the name. It's right there. We appreciate the raid. Thank you. We appreciate you. Yep. I started streaming again every Wednesday.
Awesome.
Nice. Cool. Awesome. Scorched Earth, we're a big fan of you. We appreciate that. I appreciate that. You can always ruin all your highlights if they weren't bright enough. Ask me how I know.
Yeah.
Ogre, we all know.
Yeah, and that's why, like on models like this, where I'm doing just the warm flesh, which is, not as bright as white, I know my contrast is in a kind of a low middle band. It's not like white over black. So the colors I put over the top, I have to know they're gonna impact this much more than they would a white. They're gonna make this get dimmer quicker, and so that's why I'm thinning some of them out more. And you can see, like with the black green, what got created over the warm flesh gives me a really good base for green that I really only have to like minor highlights on that, and it's done. Right, the cloak looks like I've done a whole lot more work to it.
Scorched Earth. I believe you're in Arizona. You can always come down and say, hey, Grand Deceiver, will you be running or sponsoring more painting competitions like the one you held at Adepticon recently?
The MAA will happen on an annual basis. Chris is going to say this is a fantastic segue, I'm sure.
A great segue. Look at that link. Hit that link right there. It gives you all the info you need. Yes, we are throwing the Miniatures as Art celebration. Again, 2027. Hit that link right there. Shailene says, Procryl base midtone for Space Wolves armor, ? Darker grays, not the new icy blues. Wondering if I need something I don't have.
I like dark gray blue.
For a base midtone?
Yeah, I like dark gray blue, and then you can move it either in with just like the neutral gray or slate gray or cool gray or something like that, depending on how blue you want it. If you want neutral grays, mixing them with dark gray blue takes the blue away and moves it in towards the gray armor, like the 30K style, but gives you that blue shadow. That's the way I like them. I don't like the baby blue armor or that icy blue armor that you see a lot of times. I like a blue shadow into a gray.
Okay, so more of a grayish Space Wolf.
That's the way I prefer it, but you can do whatever you want.
Anakin Skyhumper, the cloak is black-green, and then what else is it? Is it just
nothing? Just black-green over the base coat.
A glaze of it. What do you suggest for blood effects? I use dark crimson for that. I just
don't do them.
Night. You don't like blood effects, Jason?
Very rare. I'm very particular with using effects like that. They can be kind of cool, but mahogany, the paint that I'm using right now, is great because once you have blood that is out of the body and meets with the air, it's no longer red.
I like a very subtle blood effect.
I forget what EMT people call it. I was introduced to the term again when I was at Hanks and the Adepticon thing because there were some EMTs there, and somebody was asking me the same question. I was like, don't use red. Use something like mahogany, dark crimson, Those colors, I like mahogany around where the blood is in thick, large amounts, and then dark crimson or something that gives a little smattering of red towards the edges where it thins out. Works really, really well.
Oh, cool. Danger says, I want to emphasize Jason's point on PA paint. I know exactly what to expect when I reach for something. Once you play with the transparents, they do that consistently. Thank you. Absolutely.
100%. Thank you.
We're all about consistency here.
One of the biggest driving factors is I wanted to paint, if we were going to get into this realm of making paint, which Jen and I joked and said we never would, but when we decided to jump off that and do it, it was like, okay, it has to do something that I think is valuable. And I started having to ask myself the hard question of, okay, well, what is it that with all the other hobby paints that I've been painting with for decades, what were my big hang-ups? What were the things that if the designer was sitting in front of you, you'd be like, hey, why did you choose to make it do this? And so I did. I wrote them down, and we started thinking about, okay, things like inconsistency is huge. Inconsistency in fluidity, bottle to bottle, color to color. Inconsistency in the way a color behaves, like, not just opacity, because opacity is going to be inconsistent if you're using artist grade pigments, because each pigment has its own opacity. And so then you teach yourself to get used to what does a transparent versus an opaque pigment act like, and you take a look at what the product that you're using is. But beyond that, you have to look at, okay, well, then what are the other things that really bum me out? And a lot of that was usually based around, the fact that when I open a bottle, I got to treat every paint a little bit differently, and that's tiring. So that was a big thing with Procryl, was how can we make it feel more consistent right out of the bottle, give you what you're looking for, and make sure that every time you go to buy another bottle of the same color, you get the same color. That was one of my big pet peeves with all the other brands. It seems like it was almost like they were changing manufacturers every production run.
Oh. Afternoon. What colors for a white lion of chars, the lion skin, and hair? I mean, this workup he's doing for this fur would actually be kind of cool for a white lion.
Yeah, white is never white. So, looking at it and figuring out, okay, well, what version of white I want. I can do like dirty white fur that goes to brown. That can be really neat. If I'm doing that, maybe I start with like a orange brown or even just a light umber, dark umber kind of a workup, and then move that towards ivories and maybe a little transparent white at the end. Depends. This I wanted to be more gray blue, obviously, so I used our bright slate gray one step over the top of the base coat, and it gives me a dirty white. So I think that's really the question you have to answer is what do you think of when you think of white fur? Is it dirty in a brown or black or green, that kind of stuff? Or do you like this where it is, more of a bluish gray?
Yeah.
That I've then accented with darker grays for the shadows. And then, of course, the whole thing has this reddish undertone in the base. So that would be what I would call white fur. But then we've done, quote unquote white fur that leans very heavily blue.
Yeah, that's very blue.
You can see the difference. And the way this model looks like alien blue next to this one, because this one's more neutral grays and looks more like just a dirty white. This one, though, when it stands alone, it's intended to be white as a polar bear. It's just going to read more blue because of all the warmth of the gold on him and stuff like that. So you can do things like this where I've used royal purple and blues as the base tones that I built up to then white blue at the top, and then just a little bit of transparent white to do the final highlights. So the only thing that's really white are the final peaks of highlight around the head and shoulders, but it still reads as white fur. Just gives you more nuanced to it. So you can do things like that where you have a lot more color intrusion, but it still reads as white because it's the brightest thing on the model at the end. And your eye will immediately say that's white fur, even though it does have, extreme blue, purple shadows. So there's some fun things you can do with white. Then we have like when we painted, and this exists for fur just like it does armor and vice versa. So the material you're painting is really just a structure of how high you highlight it.
Yeah.
So when we did this, there's a video on our YouTube of how to paint white without using white. And that's all this is. This is just a bunch of blue grays and grays. Right? And then a little bit of transparent white at the top, and then pure titanium white on the edge highlighting. And that's it, right? And it still reads as white, even though when you put it next to something that's actually painted white, you see it's not white, it's gray.
Yeah.
Right? This is just white primer. And you see, oh, geez. But this will look better on the table as your white army than an army painted this bright. And so this isn't such a fatigue, but it still reads as white. So the trick with white is always figuring out, okay, what version of white do I want, right? Same with blacks. You can get chromatic blacks, do chromatic whites where they're really grays or, blues, or something in between. And all three of these models read as white, but they're all very different. And when you put them down, now you start going, well, blue, gray, white.
Yeah.
But when they're in their perspective environments, right, or their individual environments with the other models that you've painted the same way, this would look like an army of white bears if you had more, and this will look like an army of white wolves if you have more. So,
Avian, thank you so much for those bits. And hit that link. That's the video he's talking about. It's a great video for painting white. Zilfer says, one of my favorite things about using Pro Acryl is that I no longer feel like I need like 5 unique paints of each color just to avoid ever having to mix my own highlight. This stream has really helped me a lot with doing this.
Awesome.
Nice.
So much to painting, so much to learn, and you won't get it all at first. So just pick your lane and cruise in that lane until you're comfortable, then switch as you want. Lots of people are like, don't want to mix it all. That's great. Don't feel like you have to. I will be honest and say that mixing opens up an entire world for you that will make it so much easier to determine colors as you go. We joke around here because I'll have colors on the palette and I'll start mixing them to get a third color to paint with, and people will be like, you make that color, the one I mix to. But in the moment, you're just trying to get to the color, and if I've got it on the palette and can mix to get there, then why not?
Yep.
And I do that a lot. I'll put 2 colors together and create a third color that I literally have in a bottle sitting next to me. Because I just, in that, getting that workflow.
Matthew says, any color suggestions for Thousand Suns and Pink Emperor's Children?
Thousand Suns red or Thousand Suns blue?
I would assume blue. But you let us know, Matthew.
I always ask.
AJ, we are painting the Lord of the Hunt from War Machine, Old Umbre.
The for blue Thousand Suns, 40K, Thousand Suns. I like something like dark blue into dark turquoise and turquoise.
Yeah, that's a
great combo.
Yep.
Our turquoises hit that 40K Thousand Suns perfectly. If you're doing the reds, then that's a total different subject. I would start with purples and red oxides and red, bull pyro red and things like that. What was the other one? Pink Emperor's Children?
Yeah.
Pink, I typically want to start with purple. You could start it with something like dark plum. These are broken record answers that I'm giving you because every model should be started with something like purple or dark plum or dark blue. But yeah, generally purples, dark plum. You can do dark blue for pinks. And then I think something like you could either, depending on how detailed you want to get, you could go from dark purple to royal purple to dark hot pink to pink. Would be great. And then if you're doing like metallic shine and super high highlights on them for the armor, then you could go to pale pink for the highlights. You could just as easily skip the royal purple stage and just go dark purple to dark hot pink. And mix the two together where you need to get a midtone. That works really well. Dark purple and dark hot pink just work tremendously well together. I'm doing a whole army of my Shadow Flame shard for War Machine in those colors.
Yeah, Matthew, that dark turquoise workup for Thousand Suns is dope.
Yeah, it just works too good.
The Grand Deceiver. I am totally bought into one step, but I have a question about shaking them. They seem to require more shaking than most. Is a vortex mixer the answer, or would that be bad?
I don't like vortex mixers, but they work. I mean, they will work for one step. When you say that you're having to shake them more, what are to visually seem like it's mixed in the bottle, or to actually get it mixed when you put it on the pallet? Because I don't find that they need much shaking. They won't look like they're mixed in the bottle necessarily, just because of the way the formulation stains the side of the bottle. So if you're looking through the plastic, it may look like they're not mixed, but in reality, they are mixed way better than they look. We've had some people comment on that. Don't know what's going on here.
I entered into my first painting competition after only 2 years in the hobby and took top prize.
Heck yeah!
I honestly wouldn't have gotten there without your streams and PA
Oh my gosh!
Paints. Thank you for the wealth of knowledge.
That's freaking great. You're the second person that said that this week.
That's great.
And it's only Tuesday.
I
love that all these painting competitions are getting good reward for people. That's awesome. I'm glad to hear you taking that step. It's very brave to take something you've created and throw it out there for people to look at and much less judge, right? It takes a lot of courage to say, yeah, here's this thing I made, this labor of love I did. Go tell me if you like it or not, for prizes. So congrats. And kudos to you for giving it your best and winning. Love to hear it. The fact that we might have had anything to do with helping that along the way just makes it all the sweeter. So thank you for tuning in. Appreciate all the time you spend with us, and I'm glad it pays back somehow. That's awesome.
That's great.
Not just teaching you really bad jokes. And how to be what are you today? Are you still a C-rate producer, or have we dropped, risen?
I don't know.
We're teaching you C-rate video production along the way, too, if you pay attention.
That's right. C- says Mo. Keep me accountable.
Keep him accountable.
That's right.
Hold him accountable. Not keep him accountable. Hold him accountable.
The Grand Deceiver, they seem thick in the bottle. The mixing beads take a while to get going.
For one step?
Yeah. Chris is actually the best producer in the industry. Hey, the Grand Deceiver, I appreciate that. But yeah, give him a good shaking.
Yeah, give him a good shake. Put them on the vortex mixer if you find that you're getting them in the agitator. Seems like it's stuck. They separate, so the agitator is probably not stuck. It's just sitting down in the mud of the matting agent and the pigment. So mix them back up. But they mix together very, very well. They definitely look like they separate more than normal paints. That's because of the formulation. Give him red hair. Lord of the soulless gingers. I think maybe into burnt sienna feels good. Could I jump just to burnt orange here and be okay with it? No. No. We'll do burnt sienna. Yeah, vortex mixers are just something you don't want to put the paint on for very long, right? A vortex is for solutions, not suspensions as much. You want agitators for suspensions. Like when you go to Home Depot, the machine that shakes up the paint is not a vortex mixer. It's a huge hand that shakes the gallon drum or the 5-gallon drum, right?
Can you get a similar result using transparent red that you did on your bright red Warjack using one step?
You would be better to thin something like Pyro Red. But if you did the pale yellow like I did, it would be worth a try. The transparent red is not as punchy of a red as what you saw there, I don't think. What is that gunner on the mop? Please exit stage right. Thank you.
Lord of the Hunt says, so I have a painting masterclass with Sam Lenz in September, and I've been watching your videos on painting and understanding non-metallic metal. Best thing ever. Thank you, Jason, for all the great knowledge, good sir.
Hey, thank you again for
Thank
watching.
you for tuning in.
Giving us a chance to help you out and to listen to my craziness. Tell Sam hello. He was in here. He started streaming again, so he was in here the other day.
Chaos Angel says, what type of undercoating would you use for an icy blue skin? I don't know that I can use the usual purple, red, green workup.
I mean, okay, so the question here is one of storytelling. Like, what color blood does this thing bleed when you cut it open? Have you thought about that? Because if it's ice blue skin but bleeds red, then the red and purple part are probably still really good. The green is achieved when doing blue skin by adding yellow, because you'll get a green from the mix of the blue top coat and the yellow underpinning of color. So that can be really good. But again, that's up to you. Like, do they bleed blue? Do they bleed green? You know, what fantasy story are you telling about this being that has ice blue skin? And then and work backward from that to give yourself the answer. You know, the blue, red, greenish yellow workup is for human skin, where we have, you know, fat cells and arteries and veins that have particular coloring from the blood that's in them, and you know, so that's where we get that context. You then need to say, okay, well, what is it for model B? What do goblins have for blood? What do orcs have for blood? You know, you can use the same thing. You know, I tend to think that, well, orcs could bleed red just like everything else. Oxygenated blood, why wouldn't it be red? You can have that story. You could say they bleed blue, whatever. If you bleed blue, then you're going to want to go heavier into blues underneath the skin for that reason. And then probably blue and yellows. The purple and the blue may not have enough of a distinguishing difference, so it may be a waste to do that. You don't need to have the same amount of colors every time, so long as the story still tracks.
I use special sauce in all my airbrush applications. Yeah, it's amazing, Groth.
You have learned the magic. It was not intended for that, but holy heck, was that a good one. Not my goal, not that it wasn't intended. It was not my goal to create one of the best airbrush additives that I've ever used with special sauce, but it definitely is.
Has anyone made a figure of a wolf necromancer, possibly with undead wolves? Maybe.
Wolf necromancer? Maybe. Be a cool one.
Patrick
with like canine skeletons. Be kind of fun. Chris likes minions.
I do. Did you zoom in there?
I did. Because you can't see the damn hair strands on the...
It's so they're very itty bitty. I'm gonna zoom in with this. There it is. Oh, nice. Mojo Kojo. Question. I've slowly been painting my horse. I've mentioned a few times using golden brown, orange brown, and khaki. Anyway, I use dark I used
Mojo,
dark
you're the one.
jade.
You're the one with the conspiracy theory that horses have hair. I remember you.
I used
I
dark
remember.
jade.
We don't buy that here. We don't talk that talk here. Horses are smooth plastic.
Trying. I used dark jade as a glaze, a slightly weird choice, which I'm halfway unsure about and half love. Anyway, how do you choose a glaze color? Mojo Kojo
What
laughed.
color did they choose?
Dark jade.
As a glaze over the fur?
Yeah. I mean, that sounds pretty dope.
Interesting.
How do you choose a glaze color, though?
Well, great question. This is one of those how long is a piece of string questions.
I would say 2 feet.
Yeah, a piece of string is usually 2 feet. Okay, so when you say how do you choose a color for your glaze, it has a lot to do with what you're attempting to accomplish, right? So if I'm doing a horse, okay, so let's think about this wolf. Very similar, right? So let's pop out one.
Yep.
Right, so let's think about our wolf. Right now, I've lost a little bit of the red undertone on the fur, right? Whereas I've kept it on these, right? You can see it, especially on the rock where I haven't put any paint. But even like the browns, I have more red in the undercoat because I didn't go as heavy with the one step on the belly. Here, I kind of went heavy with the one step because it was a bright color. And so I need to get some of that red back. So in this case, I would glaze to get my red tones back, and I would thin it extremely thin and just place it so it was kind of like a wash in between the hair follicles, right, or the hair bundles. So I would get a little bit of my red oxide. So I'll probably glaze some red oxide back into the belly fur of this guy, and maybe underneath the legs. The tail is a little bit better. I have a little bit more of the red that I was able to keep on the tail fur. So I really like the way that looks with the red on it. But I lost that here because I needed to pile so much of the bright slate gray underneath to make it look like it was the same fur. Otherwise it had a line that got really dark. And I didn't like that. So I would choose to glaze the color that is missing from all the other things that I did. So sometimes when you're layering up for your golden browns for the horse fur or whatever, maybe you lost some of the dark golden brown or whatever your base layer color was because you just put too much of your midtones and bright colors on. So maybe the horse is too bright. So then you might go back and glaze your base coat again to get it darker in the shadows. Sometimes you didn't go bright enough, so you want to glaze a little bit of brightness around the head and shoulders. So it's a choice. Now, when you say something like I painted the horse fur in my golden browns, and I'm choosing dark jade or an emerald or a green to glaze back over it, I'm like, okay, now you're going to create a very alien feeling color or a really neat kind of shift of color that tells a story, and I would ask you what that story is intended to be. Because a normal horse would not have a green sheen to it unless there's something in the environment glowing green, or it's an alien horse, or there's just some story you're trying to tell. So I would want to know what the story is if I walked up and saw a gray or a normal colored horse with these other color accents on it. It can be very artistic. So if you do the same thing to the whole piece, like the rider, paint the rider however you're going to do, and then put the same dark jade kind of glaze into areas on the rider, now all of a sudden you started pulling in an environmental feel. And that can work really well, and it doesn't have to have a reason. It doesn't have to mean that the tree green is bouncing off the walls and hitting them. You don't even have to tell that. You just have to have some idea in your head that you're sticking to and doing it with intent. Just randomly picking colors and seeing how they work is always fun and great, but at the end of the day, it needs to then be carried on with intent to the rest of the model, the rider, the person next to it, the carriage, if it's pulling a carriage. I don't know what the horse is doing. But do that if you like it. Like if you've done the jade and you like it over your horse color, no reason not to leave it. Just make sure that you do the same jade on other things in the composition so it feels intent, like it had intent behind it. Otherwise, people are going to go, why is there green on this horse? Right?
AJ, have you watched the Miniature Masters from the Squigmar guys? Yeah, I've seen it. Mm-hmm.
It's a griffhound, but you kept describing it as a horse? You bum! Are you serious?
I don't know, man.
Have you been saying horse when it's a griffhound?
Wait a minute. What's a griff? You mean like a griffin hound?
Well, it's the ones that come. This is like the big version, the griffin riders, right?
Where'd that guy come from?
I painted this guy years ago.
I'd never seen that model for some reason.
Yeah, I painted this guy years ago. But yeah, I mean, you can do whatever color you want if it's a fantasy creature. Heck yeah. Greens, blues. I'm thinking horse, so I'm thinking realistic. I'm thinking World War II or Wild West or, something like, with a normal horse on it, which point you want to make sure your crazy colors have an intent behind them. If you're doing something fantastical, look, paint it blue, woo, who cares, right? Because it's expected that it isn't just normal. So yeah, I think use whatever colors you want on something like this, and the crazier the better in some instances, right? They can look really good. Somebody asked if we have airbrush ready colors, if we were going to make some. All of our colors are airbrush ready. What are you talking about?
You can do whatever you want with ours in the airbrush.
I'm going to be very honest here, and this is not a widely accepted statement, but the idea of airbrush colors is a marketing ploy. It is companies wanting to make more dollars off of you because you are gullible. Airbrush paints are nothing different than regular paints, just thinned down. So you're actually paying the same amount or more for less actual pigment because they've diluted it so it would flow better. So you're always better to thin your own paints because you'll use less of the paint you already have, and it will match the color and the idea that you have so that it's easier to then go brush paint with afterwards. In the old days, I used to use people's airbrush paints as my main range. I would just buy the airbrush colors.
Yeah.
And because they would airbrush okay, but I could also brush paint them on. They would be more like glazes because they're diluted. But yeah, I'm a paint manufacturer, and I get people mad at me because I say things like this. But that's why you won't find an airbrush line from Pro-Acryl, because all of our paints, you'll see me, I airbrush with no thinning for my base coats for just about everything we do. The priming that we do and stuff like this is all done with no thinning.
Yeah, there's a lot of misinformation.
I probably thin
out
the
there
pale.
about airbrushing.
I probably thin the pale yellow. As I go to highlights, I tend to thin so that it doesn't give you that high contrast. If you get any dot or stuff like that, zoom in super close.
Yeah,
as tight as you can get on this, and you'll see the smoothness of this is second to none. And this is just with regular Pro-Acryl and no mixing and thinning or anything. This is just airbrushing. So they airbrush like a dream. Yep. And that was one of the things that I put behind the design concept, is they had to airbrush well, because I airbrush a lot. Maybe not on every single model, but I airbrush a lot, and it has to look good, and they have to perform well in that regard. So they flow very well just straight out of the bottle, but you can thin them aggressively should you want to. With just water if you want. I always say with the asterisk with water is that it doesn't only dilute opacity, it dilutes viscosity. And so the paint will be runnier when you dilute it with water, as opposed to a medium like our one-step special sauce or our glazed wash medium work great in the airbrush too. Just with water works fine, but you're going to reduce the opacity and make it runnier. And if you're not good with the airbrush, you might spray and have it spiderweb out. It will grow legs and give you that kind of horrible star spatter when it gets super watery. It's harder to spray, especially at high pressure, right? Watery paints. But yeah, no, we won't. You won't see us doing a airbrush line because all of our paints work so great through it already. You wanted me to read this? Scorched Earth. I have to thank you. I had somewhat of a breakthrough moment with my airbrush, and I owe it to you and your advice. Not only did work better, but it stopped being an intimidating. Oh, awesome!
Yeah, the
airbrush is a crazy tool because a lot of people have it in their head that, oh my gosh, I don't want to go spend, $150, $200, $300 on something that it's scary. I've known people that have had their airbrush sitting for years.
Yeah.
After spending the money, never taken out of the box.
Yeah,
I cry when I hear these stories, because I'm like, don't spend money you're not going to use.
Yep.
Hold off. If you feel that way, don't be afraid to say it. You don't have to have an airbrush, right? Airbrushes are a fantastic tool, but I can build a house with a manual hammer and never have to have an air nailer. Right? Yeah. It's going to take me longer. I'm going to be more sore. I'll get a better workout, but I can build a house without power tools.
Yeah.
Right? Maybe not me, but houses can be built without power tools. Power tools make the job easier, and in some cases can do a better job of certain things.
Right.
But they're not necessary. And the airbrush is just that version. It's a power brush. And you can paint your models without an airbrush. The airbrush will just make certain things simpler, quicker, some cases better, like blending. It can do better once you put effort into learning it. If you have a hard time blending with your brush, it allows me to do sketchy work and then go back with the airbrush to smooth it out. Somebody asked earlier if you can use color filters to smooth out your blends, and the answer is yes, and the airbrush does it even better than the brush. So, you can do all that stuff. So I love hearing when people are like, I tried it, I listened, it works great. Inks also unlock a whole new world of airbrushing. Been putting off buying inks for so long, but damn, they're nice. Yeah, our transparent line of colors is meant to replace inks. The problem with inks is that they don't use the same resins. Even acrylic inks don't use the kind of resin that you want on a model. In most cases, I don't know of anybody. There are some hobby companies that make inks, but I don't use them, so I don't know. But our transparents are actual acrylic paints, single pigment acrylic paints, high vibrancy, high saturation, that airbrush like a dream and act exactly like an ink. So you can thin them, you can mix them, they do everything you want an ink to do. But they actually don't re-wet, so you're not going to move them around on the model. They're paint. They stick to the model when you're done.
Jason uses 22 psi with a size 3 needle for a majority of his work. Conquer, that's what Trav.
I like how on every YouTube mini short there's always the anti-airbrush troll. It'd be a whole lot cooler if you didn't use an airbrush. You know, I feel like those people are always very new to the hobby, and they've listened to the people that got them into the hobby that they respect, and that's fine. And somebody might say, you know, look at all the things I do without an airbrush. And that's great. That's great. That is a very valid way to paint. I would never say otherwise. There's as many ways to paint as there are painters. But to scoff at tools is dumb. It's just dumb. I'll just come flat out and say it. To say that an airbrush is dumb, nah. There's no fumes. There's particulates. I mean, I say there's no fumes. If you're painting with enamels and things like that, you can have fumes. But an airbrush is what you're worried about is not fumes. You're worried about particulates. If you spray paints and breathe in the pigment and the particulates that go in the air, then that's a problem. Yeah, wear a mask.
Gary was asking if our resin or if our primers apply well to resin. Yes.
Yeah.
And you said you're.
This model is all 3D printed. So this model is 3D printed resin.
Yep.
100%.
Yep.
But there's no fumes. There's no toxic fumes or anything like that. You're not against airbrush. You just want to go without long enough to hone in on. Scroll back up. To hone in on brushwork of this size and attempt everything you can. Yeah, it's perfect. I think that's a great way to do it. Like I said, don't ever feel pressured one way or the other. Don't buy into the you don't need an airbrush hype, because the airbrush makes life so much easier for even the simplest thing like priming.
Oh my gosh. Yes.
You want to talk about fumes? We make a rattle can paint. If I had my druthers, I would always use the airbrush paint, but the rattle can paint is so good that I'll find myself outside spraying with rattle can paint. But I got to be careful because you'll spray 80 models and get high, because it's got toxic fumes. But the airbrush makes things, like I tell people, don't be afraid to buy a cheap airbrush.
Yep.
Like the Masters. I bought the Masters because it had a compressor that was cheap for my house. So I bought the Masters compressor for the house, and I wound up using the Masters airbrush live on stream for a bunch of times. Because I was like, this damn thing actually works pretty well. It's not going to do fine detail work. I can't push it to be something it isn't.
Yeah.
It wasn't engineered for that, you can tell. But for base coating, it worked great. For priming, it worked great. It worked great for a lot of things, and it still does. And just having a brush, like if you want to get into airbrush, don't, afford what you want to afford. If you want to go buy a Harder and Steenbeck for your first airbrush, go do it. But if you want to buy a Masters airbrush and get the compressor, the airbrush, the hoses, and everything for like $125 on Amazon, do it. Because that brush will always work and do something well for you, even if it's just priming and base coating. That speeds up your painting, especially when doing armies, tenfold. No lie, you will speed up your process on getting armies on the table, and that's really what a lot of the hobby is about for a bunch of people. How can I get my models to a state where I feel good about put them on the table and rolling dice? And an airbrush helps a ton on that. It doesn't mean you have to have your models look airbrushed at the end. You can do a base and then brush paint everything else on top of it. I do that a lot. I mean, every model that we see me paint typically has an airbrush base layer of some sort for color, and then I block in everything with a brush and finish it with a brush and all that. It's up to you how you decide to paint. But we've also shown how easy it can be to just airbrush things like armor and then go back and just edge highlight it and have it look fantastic. So you can get away with airbrushing a lot or a little or none at all. That's up to you.
Crayola sells an airbrush that can load their markers into it.
How fun. Does it melt them like a hot glue gun? You panic finished your pigment entry with $39 Masters airbrush. There you go. And you got silver overnight. Congrats, by the way.
There you go.
That's awesome.
I'm grabbing some water. 1 second.
Congrats. Scorched earth, yeah. Yeah, never underestimate, because depending on what you're doing, you don't need to have an airbrush that will do, super tiny details and paint eyes. A lot of people don't. Don't have to worry about that kind of detail. Do you guys have any recommendations when it comes to preventing the chalky texture? It sometimes happens with high pigmented paints. You've been thinking about trying a satin finish. The problem with the chalkiness is usually, I've honed in on saying it's always, but I will say usually. There can be like batch issues, but usually you're applying the paint too wet to the model. And because it does have such a high pigment load, the wetness is separating the pigment out of the suspension and letting it float, kind of. Now, when I say this, a lot of people think, I'm not over-wetting my model, but you have to understand this is at like micro-type conversation scale here. And by over-wetting, you can wind up with the pigment floating, looking chalky, water staining, or coffee staining, doing all these things because there's so much pigment floating around, and when the water evaporates, it leaves it in random places. So wicking the paint off your brush to the point where it feels like there's no paint, and then painting with it, if you're painting in thin layers, is the best way to do that. And we have a whole video on that where I talk about it. We had this guy, right? We did a live demo on this. It's up on one of our stream videos, but I took titanium white over red, and I took it thinned and placed over the model in a thin layer, and you can see how it got super chalky, right? It looks like you rubbed a chalk stick on there. It went into the creases, it tide stained out here with that kind of halo of color. The same brush load without any changes, I just wicked off all the material, and then I was able to glaze white with it without any problem. This is how you do it, right? And you can get even a color like bold titanium white to glaze like a champ. But it's all about controlling the amount of moisture on the brush. We get so used to painting with a lot of moisture on the brush, and what may not seem to you like a lot is still a lot, that when you start painting thin, you get all that chalkiness by putting too much moisture on the model. And again, I have to use this language, but most people go, I know how to paint, and I'm not putting too much moisture on it. But then I'll watch them, and I'll be like, yes, you are. It's too much. So like when I go in and I paint, just grab some of this burnt sienna, right? This much paint on the brush, right, is fine if I'm base coating. But if I'm painting thin, it's too much. So I want to take it off of my finger because this is very thin. I want to take it off and get most of the paint off here. And now it will be just perfect. Now I can paint with it, and it gives me a consistent amount of paint. It doesn't give me a water droplet at the end of my brush stroke. If you're ever painting, let me make it happen here. Kind of over amplify this so you can see on stream. Put a lot of water on here. And you go to the model and you feel like you got it, and then you pull a brush stroke, and when you stop, you get like a pile of paint at the end, right? It's almost like it's like that, right? It's pooling pigment. Like if I just press the brush, I get a lot of pigment built up here, right? You can see the droplet of pigment on there. That's too wet. You need to get rid of most of that. It seems wasteful, but do it, because now when you get rid of it, you can still get really good consistent coverage on your brush stroke, but you never see a pile of pigment. This is all going to dry completely like it is on there. It won't ever get chalky, even when you're using colors like white. You know, it won't show your brush strokes. It'll give you the ability to paint in thin layers if that's how you like to paint. Mm-hmm. If you're blending that way, if you're painting with a lot of glazes, that's typically where you see it. And I guarantee it's happening with your bright colors is where it's triggering you, but it's happening with your dark colors too. Every paint will do the same thing. It's just the dark colors don't provide as much contrast on the model, so you're not seeing it as much.
Jeremy McGuffin, you said wet palette with a question mark. Maybe give us a little bit more detail on what you're asking.
I use a dry palette if you're asking what I use.
I'm assuming that's what you're going for. When is the collection of One Step 2 coming out for set 2? Yes, the pre-release is at Gen Con.
Starting on Thursday.
Yep, starting on Thursday.
And then it's 2 weeks. Yep. August 12th.
August 12th, and then the EU is August 26th, I believe.
Or the 19th. We haven't had word back on that yet, but yes.
So, yeah, keep an eye out for those.
I'm just going to use bone. Boom.
But yeah, so people started getting their set 2 in their hands this week. Yeah, Hive Tyrant, definitely keep an eye on our socials, but August 12th is when you'll be able to order it here in the States.
So I'm going to do exactly what I was just talking about. I'm taking bone, which is a brighter color, and I'm getting rid of most of it because I've thinned it down so I can see through it, use it as a kind of a mid-tone glaze. And then I'm going to go over these skulls with it so that I keep a little bit of that ugly greenish yellow from the one-step coloring. on the skulls themselves.
Damage Inc. Is set 3 definitely going to complete the one-step range?
I never say definitely. I let you guys decide that. If the world comes back and says they want more one-step, we'll make more one-step. But that'll be 36 colors. I've always said that we would go to somewhere between 36 and 48. So it'll be the last set for this year, set 3.
We'll be seeing you guys at DEFCON next year, nerds. I think I've turned 24 people on to Pro Acrylic paints.
Awesome.
Nice.
Thank you.
Hey, we appreciate that, Hive Tyrant.
I always say we should pay our customers commission because they're our biggest sales force.
Seriously.
You guys and gals all go out and just champion the brand like hero mode. We really, really appreciate it.
No, it's not one-step bone. It's just bone.
It's just bone. No secret paint being shown to you here. This is just regular bone.
Jimbo, we need 6 to 10 waves. I need 96 colors. Call your Congress people.
Yeah.
Keep sending us mail. Panic Bomb says, I want more one-step. I speak for the world. Okay. Which sets would you recommend to set up a good range of PA normal paints for someone who is not comfy with color mixing?
Oh boy, the base set and expansion set 1 are your beginning of your journey in most cases. Then it's flavor to taste, season to taste. I feel like the right question is the mega set, but then it doesn't have the signature series paints in it. So then we get into every one of them all.
What you could do is start with the base set, then get expansion set 1, 2, 3, 4, then the metallic set.
Okay, he's just telling you all with more words.
And then all of the signature series sets.
He's literally just saying what I just said, but he's using more words to get
then
there. Just buy them all. No, the reality is the base set and the expansion set 1 will give you a really good starting point to figure out the line, to start working with our colors, see what you like, and then beyond that, I'm like always more about what are your colors that you paint with the most. What army are you painting? Buy the colors you need as you need them, rather than stocking up with every color that you might not use. While I love the fact that there are people out there that collect all of our paints, the reality sets in that you're like, what you really need is the colors you're using the most.
Yeah, and I'll just say it straight up, too. If you've tried us and you're thinking about it and you're like, I'm going to make the switch, do the math on our mega set. It's an amazing deal.
Yeah, I was going to say, the mega set, it winds up being the best value.
And it has literally if you're into miniature painting and you've tried Procro but you haven't bit the bone and you're going to do this hobby, do the mega set because it's best bang for your buck. Eeks, why did I think it was Gen Con, like a whole convention for Gen, and Gen says every day is Gen Con around here. That's right.
That looks really good. Just that simple olive yellow on the skulls with bone thin over the top. It's just so good. It makes them look nasty without being too nurgly, because this model isn't nurgly, but having the bones themselves have that little bit of greenish yellow tone to them, I think makes them look like, like they were flayed, the flesh off of them, and then just sat out on the tied to the wolf.
Ithaca says, what's the difference between one step and a paint mixed with special sauce?
You'll have two different mediums in the normal paints mixed with special sauce. It's not an issue. They work great. But the special sauce is, specially formulated to not have any duplication of effort in it. And that will make the paint work a little bit more true to form, I will call it. Right? Yeah. So the special sauce will turn any of your colors into a one-step like paint and does a tremendous job of it. But the one-step colors themselves will always work a little bit more as intended.
Parker says The mega set is great, but wife would make me drink all my current stuff if that showed up.
I feel like it's that for, for $15 extra will include a "you won this" live on stream. Congratulations, little sticker with it.
Oopsie.
Then you just got to keep her away from the bank statement. That's up to you. We can't do that.
Don't do that. Don't drink it. Don't eat it. Don't consume it. We legally have to say that. Now seeing the result, I need to go back and redo all my skeletons. Ryan Blade. The stream will do that to you. It's done it to me.
All the time for you.
we're
You're
all
always
seeing
like,
a
oh,
workout,
God, I'm
like-
going to go reprime my models.
Like, oh, shoot, I like this. Uthben, when is Pro Acryl edible paints coming out? Well, technically anything is edible once,
Also true.
but I wouldn't do that. Don't do that. Don't eat it. There you go. That's my TED Talk.
I don't know that I can make it simpler than what we just did on that. I like 2-color workups, and that's really where One Step shines, is it lets me go in, and I say 2-color. Obviously, there is a base coat as well, because we didn't just put black primer down and do 1 step over it, so I know that's kind of a lie, or a fib when I say it's just 2 colors. But, you say you prime in a color, like we did here, and then you go back and do 1 step, and then just do a quick glaze of bone over the top, and you can feel very comfortable with that and not worry about having to spend countless hours on them. So it does speed up things and still give you very, very, I painted this, and my goal with it was to make it look like you spent a lot more time on the model than you really did. And I think we've nailed it.
Sandwich Bro says, when are we getting Eclectic Salmon Primer and Payne's Gray Primer?
Oh gosh, here you've gone.
Eclectic
You don't even have
Salmon
so you don't even
Primer.
have Eclectic Salmon as a paint. You're already asking for a primer.
I can
What
see
in the world
Payne's-
is happening here, people?
I could see the Payne's Gray Primer, but not the Eclectic Salmon one. What are you needing Eclectic Salmon Primer for? That's the real question.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's
Salmon?
a highlight color. Are you really
You painting a
wanting
bunch
it
of
as a-
salmon?
I don't
Hive
think
Tyrant?
I will never make I can pretty much say I will never make an Eclectic Salmon
Still
primer.
looking for that ivory primer. Hive Tyrant. What about our taupe?
Taupe.
Yeah, get taupe. It's almost a perfect match to
Taupe
yeah,
was
get our
intended to do that, but run just a shade darker so that ivory gave you the ability to go over the top of it with something.
Yeah, go get our taupe primer. Taupe.
Taupe works great. You can do full skeleton legions with it.
No need to say sorry, Ithaca. What's your guys' take on adding a satin finish to PA painted models? I tend to like a glossy-ish texture of Citadel, but that's the only thing I like from them. LOL.
I mean, yeah,
We
you
have
can
a
add
gloss-
we have a gloss
yeah.
varnish. You can put gloss varnish in your paint if you like that sheen. Nothing says you can't.
Dallas likes to do that.
He likes the way it flows. He likes a little bit of shine on his models.
Trying to paint cooked bone, would you lean more gray than yellow for cooked bone? Cooked bone is a little bit more gray, I would say.
Yeah, maybe.
It's more like bleached out, maybe.
I think so, yeah. That makes sense to me. I'm not an expert on
What's up,
what all
Dundee?
the bone looks like, but
Cooked bone.
now he's on a list. He's Googling
I'm not
things
doing
he
it.
shouldn't be Googling.
I'm not gonna do it. I thought that was bright ivory was for.
What's that?
Specifically, I want ivory primer for my Tyranids. That's been said. Taupe would work well for my other. Yeah, taupe's great.
It's funny because I never intend the bright primers like taupe to be the only primer color. So I don't make them for that, right? Taupe is intended to go over a dark primer. From my workflow standpoint. Can it work the way you're talking about it? Sure.
Yeah, Cyber Spy. If you're talking about one step through an airbrush, it works amazing.
Oh my God. Some of the best paints to just pour into your airbrush and go that I've ever used.
I think that's what you're asking, Cyber, but I use it all the time. Now, I'm going to do a bunch of tree tests, I think, this next week with the dark brown and then the yellow-green for the leaves. No, Hive Tyrant, we don't really intend to make an ivory primer. We stuck with the taupe.
Nope. Just take the, again, the thinking from my standpoint with primer is that I want nothing more than a mid-tone if it isn't white.
Yeah.
White takes care of all your contrast that you want to get from an airbrush and priming.
Mm-hmm.
And then anything beyond that is something that I want to give you a mid-tone so that then you can either do white or ivory or bright ivory over the top of taupe, and it looks great. That's why taupe is exactly the way that it is, so that it works fantastic with a bright ivory over the top of it, or whatever else you're trying to do, whether you're doing bone or carapace for Tyranids or whatever it is.
Could you mix the white primer with the taupe to make the taupe a little bit brighter?
100%.
Yeah, you could also do that, Hive Tyrant.
100%. A lot of people do that with the dark neutral gray primer if they want a neutral gray.
Yeah.
And people are like, when are you going to make a neutral gray primer? I'm like, we do. You mix white and dark neutral gray.
And that's
50-50.
That's why we don't make a gray brush-on primer, by the way.
Yeah, you can mix the black and the white, and they take up less space in your travel bag.
Yes, Danger, I definitely will put the tree test in Discord. Specifically with the trying him with just airbrushing. So I'll let you guys know when I do that. I'm going to try a bunch of freaky different undertones. See what happens.
Oh, on trees, that's always great.
Yeah, so like I'm going to do like a royal purple with turquoise, kind of similar to what Jason did that one time with the Guardian. I'm going to just do a bunch of different tests. But then what it'll be is dark brown will go over that. Dark brown one step will go over that. And then for the leaves, I'm going to do yellow-green. So whatever happens, happens. Double T, you know I save a bunch of tree... At Trent, Ents, all the tree models I can find STL-wise, I have in a little list. I save them. But I don't buy them. I don't buy these STLs. Because everybody gets into just buying these STLs, but they never get around to printing them. So I'm not going to fall into that trap, but I will save them to my library for future purchase. Matt B, I'm about to buy a second glass palette just so I can rotate and soak one. That's what we do here.
Yep, we have two.
It's a great system. I just cleaned the other one right over there. Look at that. No, it is not a giveaway today. But maybe you should be here tomorrow.
What? How dare you tell them ahead of time?
It's because I've done 2 Thursdays in a row, so technically we got to do it on another day, which is tomorrow, because it's not today. Wink, wink.
I think the greenish was good on top of the white
Nudge,
with
nudge.
the bluish fur on it, and the warmth that I'm going to get out of the leather strapping. I think green was a good choice.
Hey, Jason, I think you made an excellent choice, mister.
It's a good choice.
Hey, you're a good choice.
Hey, whoa.
Hey, hey, yo.
Is that a record scratch?
It is. Whoa! Slow down. Jason, are you excited for your pan tilt purchase you made?
I did. I did it. I did. Guess what I did, chat?
No.
I have to pat myself on the back. I did all the research.
Oh, gosh.
All the research. Because guess how... Okay, chat.
Jason.
In chat, I want you to type how many times you personally have heard me tell him to get a pan tilt head.
Jason.
Type in there a number of how many times you think I've told Chris
It was literally
to buy it when he says, can you set her up? And I say, why don't you buy a pan tilt head?
Jason.
I've given you the ability to do that.
Jason.
How many times? Quite a few. I heard that. Yeah.
Jason.
Wait a minute.
It was
Sam
literally
H. Bro
this-
says I just kind of tune out when Jason talks. I oughta. 42,069. Over 9,000. Getting close.
It was literally the same one I was
1 million,
mention
I
to
think,
you.
is close.
I hate it when Jason sends me a link that I'm going to send
This is like
him.
The Price is Right, and I think 1 million probably has it closest without going over right now.
Jason, I was going to send you that exact link.
Do you X up in chat if you think he's full of BS?
No,
How many times has he said, I have been doing this for over 6 months, and yet I've never gotten a link?
I know.
And you know what happened is they had a sale, because I've been watching this stuff for a long time,
Yep.
waiting if he's ever going to do it. And finally, there's only 2 days left on the sale, and guess what Jason did last night? I bought the damn thing.
Yeah.
I bought it, and I sent it to him after I bought it,
Yeah.
and he goes, well, what I would really do, and I'm like, too late, bought it.
No, I didn't say that. I said that was great. I gave you a
Too
thumbs
late,
up.
bought it.
I gave
Too
you...
late, bought it. I
bought-
did all the research. He said, but make sure to get the remote. Well, guess what doesn't work with the remote anymore?
No.
The version 3 head.
No,
Guess what I bought? The version 3. All the hype for me. I did it. We're going to have high-tech pan tilt head so that when I'm not in frame, the producer can produce and get me back in frame and let the artist be the creative inspiration I need to be.
I buried my own grave with that one. I was going to mention, I was looking up some emulators for a tracking thing to where, because that remote, like you said, doesn't work, but you can put it on here to where we can make an emulator where I can drag it. So, but we'll have to.
Here we go. Here's all the things that he was dreaming of doing with the purchase he never made.
Hey now, I will admit, I was going to recommend that brand. And I'm glad you bought the Pro one because it's heavy, boy.
So me,
So I'm glad you
the
bought
layperson
the Pro.
who knows nothing about any of this stuff, went and made the right choice. That's what he's saying.
That is correct.
I was like, I did some Google foo. I found the thing I think we need.
There's a bunch of other alternative
Here we go.
joysticks too.
Here we go.
That we can ghetto rig for it if we want to get real fancy. But there you go. I'm not reading any more comments today. You're all saying a bunch of crap. There you go.
Well, one of the things I think might be really cool is that it will allow us to have one camera instead of two over here, and we can do what Chris wanted to do, which is not have the palette cam and have it actually rotate to the palette.
You could.
So it could go over to the palette and just go zoop, and then back over to the model.
You could.
Because it allows you all those presets.
You could. I need that camera though still for the videos.
Oh,
That's,
well then that
that's
doesn't
okay.
Matter. That probably doesn't matter then.
Regardless, there's presets for it that'll follow it, so we'll totally be fine. It'll be worth it. You know?
Oh, I know. That's why I did it.
You got the Pro one though, not the Plus.
I don't know.
Oh no, no, the Pro.
I got the one that holds 14 pounds.
Are you the Plus or the Pro?
It's the Plus Pro.
That's not.
That's exactly what it is, Chris. It is Plus Pro. There is the One, the Plus, and the Plus Pro.
Okay.
Plus Pro holds double the weight.
20 pounds.
No, 14. It says 20, but its actual weight limit is 14. It won't hold 20. One says 10, and the other one says 20, but it's really 14 and 7.
I
looked. I did the research.
Yeah.
I trust the research.
Those little motors, they'll handle it. We'll figure it out.
I got the right one.
You did. I'm proud of you.
Here we go. He's trying to take credit for it now. I'm so proud of you,
I just
son.
wanted to make sure
I'm
you
so
got
of it. I don't know
the
why you
one
didn't
that
do
I
it sooner.
circled. The circled one.
Well, it was already bought when you sent that back, so I was sick of hearing you not doing anything with it. So I did it. That's it. I did get the zip code wrong and had to email them to change the zip code. So
Oh,
And they did. They're very responsive.
they're good people.
Very responsive.
I've used their stuff. They've got they got a whole bunch of little rig stuff. Ecosystem. Chris, this is a Plus Pro producer.
He's a
right.
Plus Pro producer.
Now the only thing is I got to make sure y'all don't get motion sick.
Well, it doesn't just move on its own.
It could.
Oh, God.
You could actually track it if you
We're
wanted
not
to.
going to do that, Chris.
We could do a laser pointer and have it track all the way down to your fingernail. We could, technically. And legally.
I will apologize ahead of time, Chad. I didn't realize he was going to go insane with this new toy I bought.
I'm not going to go insane. They will. No, it'll be fine.
It will not be like on a ship in the ocean.
No. It's just, it'll be little micro movements.
No, it won't.
No. I meant, it's not going to be continuously moving. I'm saying there'll be little micro movements, like it'll have to move to center you up.
Well, but only when I get off frame.
Right. That's what I'm saying. Yes, it's not going to continuously.
It's not going to move all the time.
We could have it continuously
I'm going to kill him, chat.
Which would be actually pretty fun.
I've told you, and it's happening again. I'm going to kill him.
No, they got this whole little laser system you can get, Jason.
So, guess what I didn't buy, Chris? I didn't buy any of the toys for you to take it into Crazy Man range.
Crazy Man range. Crazy Man range. Chris really lit up her room. That's right, Ghost Hunter.
It's about that time,
Until
Chad.
then-
It is literally about that time. Call Dateline. Tell him you know the guy. I'm ready to be interviewed from jail.
Shailene, wait a second. Let's go back up here.
I'm ready for the
Chris,
interview from jail.
Did you ever talk about what Jen's great idea was that you said you'd tell us later?
He does that and never tells us. That's why I get so ticked with him when he does it. Because he goes, I have this. Oh, no, I'm not going to tell you.
Wait.
Oh, no,
this
no,
is
I
not
can't tell
about
you.
me. Did we talk about what Jen's great idea was?
Well, that's the last one that you did. And then you were like, oh, no, you're not. Oh, no, we can't do that today. And then you never did it. I have so many of these.
With that I told Jen?
No.
No. There's something that's coming for stream that's not going to be here yet. So, but specifically for Jen, that's different.
He's not paying attention, chat. He doesn't know what we're talking about.
Now, if you're referencing the surprise that I have coming, that's going to be down the line.
This is what he does.
That one is
This
true.
is literally what he does.
The Jen idea? I don't know about that. I need a link. Link it in stream or it didn't happen. Clip it.
This is what he does.
He was like, Jen had the greatest idea. You're going to love it, but I can't tell you until next week.
That was 2 weeks ago.
Jen, what was your idea that you told me? Oh, no. What? I was probably on heavy drugs. Blurry-eyed and unable to see the truth.
We're having an HR session with him currently. An
be
HR intervention.
Intervention.
That sounded like an 80s sitcom intro. We're waiting for an intervention.
Chris is finally getting fired. Yes. Remove my pain, Big Bob, of having to deal with all of you beautiful people.
Oh, jeez. It's always the backhanded compliments.
You wonderful people. Jen said, I don't know. I have so many great ideas. She does. That's why I'm confused right now.
That's my Jen right there.
That's right. I would have known.
What was that funny joke you told? She goes, all my jokes are funny.
That's why I'm confused. That story's yet to be told. That's all I can say to you, Shailene.
He does this, and that's why
Jen has great ideas.
When he does this kind of stuff on stream, Shailene, it's because he doesn't really have anything to say.
No.
He's just literally making it up
to
get my goat.
Me?
That's why it never comes back around with any kind of follow-up.
Little
because he
me?
was just doing it to get my goat.
Me? No.
You know how I know it's true?
Me?
Look at him.
No. I would never do that. I do have a surprise coming, though. And Jason's not going to know. Jason couldn't bet in a million years what I have coming. This is the one I mentioned last week, and this is still a fact. There's zero. I gave you 3 options last week to try to guess my surprise.
Yeah, and I was nonplussed.
No,
So still nonplussed. Still don't care.
You will care when I have it.
I'm sure I will.
It's going to be great. I think you're all going to realize that this stream will go to the next level. You guys are getting your pan tilt so that Jason doesn't shoot me every time I say center up. And you're getting something that you couldn't even guess. Jen will be able to use this too.
Well, because it's for something on the producer's desk?
Maybe. There's your hint. Who knows what it could be?
Skulls made way too easy. Brought to you by One Step and Bone. That was literally too easy.
That's great. No, it's not LinkedIn. Oak and Fury.
Oh God.
That'll be very public and announced and planned.
Oh God. Please say it isn't true.
No, I'm not springing the LinkedIn stream on Jason. I want my job. No, D Bowler. I know what you're saying about the tilt shift lenses. Those make very interesting effects, and they're super old school because that comes from the original medium framed tilts. So no, we're not doing that. Those are cool effects, but not for stream.
Holy seasick.
Yeah, tilt frames are like you can shift the lens and it'll give you like a weird perspective shift, but no. A pane of bulletproof glass? No, Jeff, I don't need bulletproof glass.
Yet.
The fisheye stream? No.
Oh my God.
You could put, okay.
Can you imagine how horrible that would be to have this in fisheye warp?
It actually would be fun to replace that lens with a fisheye one day, an ultra wide one, and just do the whole thing in that. You'd be able to see literally everything in this room.
That doesn't sound like any fun at all.
I think
I would puke as soon as I looked up from the desk to the screen.
It'd be fun for like a minute.
No.
Do it for April Fools. I don't know what you're talking about, Jarls Tony. I take off on April Fools. Anyone lingering around LinkedIn enough to watch a stream and probably not going to be the best client base. That's the point. Now you're getting it, Danger. No, I'm not getting a portable producer setup. It happens in the studio. I don't need to be mobile here in the studio. Can you guys pick up the new 40K team with the dinos? No. Jason is not a big dino fan.
Oh, the Eldor with the dinos?
I don't know about that one. They're cool. Some of them are cool. I'll give them that, but it's not Jason's cup of tea, dinos, right?
I just don't care.
Yeah, and he's not a fan of ninjas either.
You made that up.
We need a VR stream? No, that'll make Jason sick. Because then he would see himself painting, seeing himself painting. Twice. And then if he had, it would not work. Now, I have thought about a POV version of stream, right? But that is actually a little bit more difficult too. Plus, you guys would get sick because he's moving around. But this is POV. What else do you want? This is what you get. Jason, if you had the laser tracker, it would have followed it.
No. No, and I don't want a camera on my head.
D-Bowler, I have thought about one on the brush, and that would make you guys throw up. Could you imagine if you had a small camera on your brush? It would be like... They make those mounts.
I know. I just saw a new one they came out with that's meant to go on the end of operation tools and pins and things like that. Yeah. And I was like, we could have a paintbrush cam, but everybody would absolutely puke.
Well, because you're literally like...
I make a bunch of micro textures.
Oh, yeah.
I'm always moving the brush. It would be like, whoop.
There's no way. You guys would literally be like, oh.
We do need a dunk tank for the producer.
A dunk tank?
Yeah, like right there, and the monitors just need to spread about 4 inches so I can whoop-pap and dunk him all the time.
Why do you want to inflict pain on me?
That's not pain, it's wetness.
What if I'm allergic to water?
Did the Bears win last Friday's War Machine? They did not.
Oh.
They did not. I got beat. I scooped on turn 4.
You scooped on turn 4?
I scooped on turn 4. Or maybe it was late turn 3.
Hey, that's what you got to do.
It was turn 4. As I passed turn, I was like, no, I can't do this.
Put the paintbrush cam in the other corner. No, we can't do that. No. There's too much already going on.
Is scooping the same as rage quitting? No, they're very well. I mean, you can scoop and rage quit. They're not mutually exclusive.
No, scooping just means like
scooping just means I was like you basically it's what we call when you forfeit the game over to your opponent because you don't have that ability. We talked through it a bit, but there was no way I could. The game would have simply been a war of attrition. I could not win past the turn because Jordan, was able to pick up off the table my 2 heavies for virtually no investment, and so without heavies I couldn't do anything. I would have just fed him models while he slowly took the lead. I was in the lead when I scooped. I was up by like 1 or 2 victory points. So the beginning of the game was going pretty well. His army he's playing the Fane of Nero, and I talked about it yesterday.
Baby J just said sorry.
No, it's not sorry. He played really well, but he's playing an army right now that's kind of a boogeyman because it's new, and nobody knows how to play it. And it has some pretty abusive rules that you have to figure out how to play against. I feel like right now it doesn't... I don't like the army only because after I think about it, I'm like, you have to literally tailor your list to beat that army, and I don't like when you have to do that. It feels a lot like Mark III when they did the rules blow up. But I'm certain there will be changes in that once people start finding some tech that does it. In the army that I'm trying to play, I started thinking about it. Other than sitting back on my heels, which is not how I like to play. Yeah. I like to be aggressive. And it's an army that makes it very difficult to be aggressive.
You like to get in their face. You forgot you had the anti-freeze thing, says Jordan.
Nah, I don't think it would have been that different. I still couldn't beat your 8-point guy that can lift up a 16-point heavy for free. That's not real cool. They need to nerf that guy. After thinking about it on the weekend, they got to nerf that 8-point cavalry unit because I went back through and there aren't a whole lot of low point units in the game that can lift a heavy in a turn for basically no input and then be able to have that skirt get away. It's a little rough.
What'd you use for the rider's skin?
I did. It was the same pre-highlight. Obviously, it was just the base of this, which is the warm flesh and white dry brush over the top of it. Yeah. And so I did magenta wash over this where the skin would go. And then on top of the magenta, so it turned all of the skin pink. You can see all the pink on the hair and stuff. It looks a little crazy because there's so much of the overwash on stuff. But that's what we're going to start cleaning up next. But the magenta wash got into the recesses, and then I went with advanced flesh tone and bright shadow flesh and just kind of mixed those and blended them around so I get kind of a palish skin that still has some warmth to it because of the magenta and the yellowishness that's in the advanced flesh tone. That's it, just those 2 colors. I haven't highlighted it anymore. I usually stop at getting the base tone and the first mid-tone highlight on because I don't know how bright everything around the skin is going to get. I don't know where I'll stop with all this, because right now, the thing with one step is it gives you the ability, like in, 2 layers to get these skulls done, and they're at a pretty good level. Yeah. And then I just have to see how intense I want to peak things on this, because I have to highlight the hair on the wolf, and I'm not real excited about highlighting every clump of hair on a furry animal, but we'll see how it goes.
Hey,
the
Jason.
amount of time I invest in this guy is getting more time
get
than
to
he's
it,
worth
Arco.
right now because I was very underwhelmed by this model, but I didn't play it right. So that's on me. I have to get better at figuring out how to manipulate this particular model. He was very underwhelming. What do you think a good cloth color would be for your Lionel Johnson that would complement the green armor following the methodology? Green armor following the methodology. What green armor?
Arkomoto, you might have to clarify a little bit for me.
I like Lionel Johnson with white. That's what I've been doing right on all mine. Right, so whether we did the greenish armor, white cloth with red trim, red metallic trim, and then on him, even though you can't really see, but it does have white cloth. There's just not a lot of white cloth showing on him, but it is white. So I like white for him. It's very knightly, right? Because I feel like he's like a knightly orders kind of a character, and I feel that the white is a really good kind of royal color for him. So I've always done that. I have the other one though. I don't have the model here. The newer 40K one. We started painting it. I can't remember if I did it white or if it was like a bone style color. I don't remember.
It's our gloss varnish. It's like we don't have a satin.
We don't have satin, just gloss.
You just need to use it at certain levels.
Yeah, think of the finish on paints going from, ultra matte at like a 0 would reflect no light, right? Our paints are typically in a 2 to 3 gloss range, so very matte. And then when you start moving up towards 10, you get to full shine, full reflective, like, polished steel at the high end. But so gloss varnish is what you want. Satin varnish is a misnomer because it's just less gloss.
It's just less gloss.
So so gloss varnish, it's like a satin would be kind of a mix between gloss and matte varnish. We do gloss and matte, and we let you, if you add just a little bit of gloss to a matte paint, you get satin. A little bit more, you get more gloss, and then a little bit more, you get gloss paint. So just put in smaller amounts of it until you find the finish you like. You don't have to mix anything other than it with the paint. White, gold, non-metallic metal on one of the minis on your shelf. White, gold. Can you remember the colors used? Probably started with yellow. I showed what you called a white, gold, non-metallic metal.
White gold? I don't actually recall of any of that, Fallon.
I don't remember that. A white gold.
I don't think I've
metal.
seen Jason do white gold, to be honest with you.
All of my golds tend to, like, cool gold. Maybe Dante?
Maybe?
Was it Dante?
Dante.
Still more of a cool gold, right? And that I start with a base of purples and then greens, and I use less yellow when I'm doing gold like this than, say, when I'm doing, like this for the Blood Angels, right? So I guess this could be a more white gold. Not a term I would normally use for it, but, when I'm doing a cooler temperature gold, I start with greens and colors like that, and then use less yellows and let the pale yellow or the ivory or whatever color I've gone to in my highlights, usually bright yellow ochre, pale yellow, bright pale yellow, things like that, I think are leaving them showing more will give you that feel of maybe a white gold versus this where you leave more of your yellows. I'm using warm yellow over dark yellow green into pale yellow on these guys.
Yeah.
And so, this is leaving less of the bright color showing and having it just be where the specific shine is versus this, which I'm using the bright color a lot more liberally on it to make the gold more polished, I guess. Even though I don't go super bright with the shine. I haven't put any white on it or anything.
Can you show the back of that model, Jason? I was trying to remember how you connected those wings.
How I connected them?
Yeah.
Believe it or not, it literally just took some shaving with the knife, very heavy-handed shaving with the knife, and shoved them in between the backpack.
Yeah, it looks like it's super intentional, right? Like,
yeah, I used the old style backpack instead of the one that came with it. Right. This is a 3D printed Horus Heresy era one, rather than I think he comes with like the Primaris backpack nowadays, which I think looks silly. So I used a 30K backpack, but it fits flush up against that little, foundation platform on their back where the backpack goes.
Yeah.
And then the wings just literally shove in there. And they shove in there so nice that you don't have to you can't even see where there was a break. It was almost like it was meant for it.
Yeah. Jason, you remember my my Thunder Warrior Saga? Remember that?
Thunder Warrior Saga?
Yeah, you remember how I printed those?
Yes.
Or got them printed?
Got them printed, yep.
Yeah, remember how I scaled them up
Yes.
to make them bigger?
Yeah.
I
Oh, no.
just got some really cool Thunder Warrior
Thank you, Ithaca.
STLs. And I scaled those up to 120% for Terminators. And they look awesome.
You got what?
I got Thunder Warrior STLs from the same person, right? And I scaled the Terminators to 120%. So now my Terminators are even bigger. It's really cool. I think you're going to like it.
I already don't like the scale you got your regular ones to.
What do you mean? They're so good on the table. They look so good. They look so beefy when I was destroying Philip.
This is my life, chat.
It was they look so good.
This is my life, chat.
They look like proper Thunder Warriors.
This is my life. See, they don't, though, because Thunder Warriors weren't at that scale.
They were.
They weren't.
I did the math.
You didn't.
I did.
You didn't.
I 100% did.
No, you didn't.
They were 3 feet taller. And I did the math.
Oh, my God.
5%.
He didn't.
I did.
He makes this stuff up.
No.
Yeah.
I looked it up, Jason. No, I did. They're really cool. Jason's going to like them.
I won't. On principle alone, I will say gross.
They're so cool.
I know you like stuff to be way oversized. I don't know what you're compensating for, but it's really silly because you've got...
for the Thunder Warriors.
You are lying like a liar lies right now.
It's just for
so
the
I would
Thunder
like for
Warriors.
you to go grab your Bad Moon, which is not a Bad Moon.
I had to take it home.
That is another model that, because there is no Bad Moon model.
No, it's the Bad Moon.
It's not. It's a model, and it's scaled up to volleyball size.
It's perfect.
It's not perfect. It's horrible.
It's wonderful on the table. It's so glorious when Kragnos starts marching forward.
Everything he makes has to be way out of scale.
No!
Yep.
The Thunder Warriors is accurate.
Nope.
I swear. I looked it up. Wait, there's a Bad Moon model? Yes, Stroth.
No.
There is.
It's his Kragnos.
I've made it.
That he uses with his...
Somebody bought my Kragnos model without the arms, surprisingly.
I think that's rad. Yeah. They just wanted the bits or whatever.
No, yeah, probably, yeah. I mean,
well, you probably sold it to him really cheap, right?
Yeah, I think I sold it for like $60.
Well, yeah. So that was just that was really a cheap one, and they could get 3D printed arms or something.
A lot of really cool bits on him.
Because isn't that like a $150 model?
It is.
That was a deal for somebody.
And I destroyed it. It was amazing.
Well, yeah.
It came out perfect. I used it 3 times. And it counted every time. I got a TO to officially look at it, and he said, this technically counts. I'm like, okay, perfect. It's got the weapon, has the shield, it has the exact base.
It's like a volleyball.
It's great.
It's the most insane thing.
The best part of it is that the little arms are on him, which is the best part about that model. Just the little like squiggly arms. Hey, could I glaze the one-step orange into black, says Cyberspy.
You definitely can.
Would you recommend it?
Sure.
Why not? Get crazy. It's after hours, by the way, everybody. So hopefully you're all buckled up. Because legally I can do whatever I want.
Remember that when you're using a paint of low opacity like One Step, that when you put it on the model, if you're glazing it into a black that's already painted, you might have some problems pulling that off to the level that you enjoy. So you might want to do the orange on the model first and then work the black into your orange. Right? You have to think of one step. I don't know how many people have painted with watercolors, but you have to think of them like watercolors when you're going to be doing mixing and things. You need to look at it and say, okay, well, in order for this to work, I have to kind of do my light colors first because they lack the opacity to put over the top of dark colors very well. You can do it, and they'll turn, like if you put orange over black, it'll make it a orangish black, but you won't really see the orange. It'll be a very, very subtle shift of black if you put a one-step color over a very dark color. So just keep that in mind as you're wanting to go through and do these these blends and integrations like that.
When you do blood angels with red and salmon and pale pink, do you filter the salmon pink back down at all?
Filter it back down? No, typically not. You can, but I use it as a expected highlight. So it's the color I want. And then I do pale pink over the top of the salmon. Could you then filter it back with like Pyro Red or Red Transparent or the new Scarlet Red One Step? You sure can. At that point, I don't know that you really needed to use the salmon, though. You probably just could use pink or something else for the value that you want.
Fallon RPG, got it. They were talking about the skeleton with the goblet. For when he was talking about the white gold.
Skeleton with a goblet?
Or your, whatever it, like the chalice, the cup? The king? The skeleton king? I forget that model's name.
Skeleton king with a cup? Is it over here?
Yeah. He's climbing up steps.
Oh! Yeah.
That's what he was talking. Okay, gotcha, Fallon.
Oh,
You
wow.
went straight to pale yellow mixed in with green.
The Death Knight.
Death Knight, there it is.
So again, kind of along the same lines, except more green, even so, than the...
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, that's what you're talking about, right, Fallon? I think so. It is almost like a whitish gold.
It's...
I don't know.
Yeah. I feel like this is... Yeah, it could be. It's just a bright gold, and it's done to where the green makes it feel a little tarnished. Right? Even though gold doesn't really tarnish to greens, it gives it a better overall feel, I think. So yeah, this is again just dark yellow green.
Okay, cool.
No yellows. This is just pale yellow mixed with the yellow green.
Yeah.
Right? So you get what looks to be the yellowish part of the gold by mixing the pale yellow with the green. You don't ever use any real yellow on this.
The one and only PMS.
So it works really well.
That's a good question.
I always forget about this guy. He's literally sitting right in front of me. I always forget about him.
I'm painting undead flesh by using purples, greens, and a filter of red-gray. Would you recommend using glaze and wash or secret sauce for a filter?
Either.
Dealer's choice.
Yeah, really dealer's choice. I think that the glaze wash medium works great for keeping the paint more viscous and feeling like paint. If you're more comfortable painting with less viscous, more watery paint, then the one-step medium, the special sauce does a very similar job, but will have a diluted viscosity too, so it'll be a little more runny. Because the one-step special sauce is meant to act more like a wash. So that's the only thing, is that the glazed wash medium, you need to add water to it to turn it into a wash, whereas a special sauce, it's already ready to go. So they both work great.
Ooh. Any posture tips for long painting?
Standing desk. That's what we do here. So Chris and I are both at standing desk, and I've been painting on a standing desk for coming up on 9 years. And I can't really go back to sitting and painting. When I do, I roll my shoulders forward and I bend from the waist and the upper back, and my shoulders get tense and my neck hurts, all the things you're talking about. At a standing desk, none of that ever happens.
I paint with, if I'm going to paint at a desk, I typically will put my my elbows on the desk and paint right in front of my face.
Yep.
Rather than looking down. So like a
lot of people can't do that though. They can't
Yeah.
have the model right in front of their face like that. So yeah, standing desk is fantastic because it allows you to then not have to basically bend from your shoulders. You can like right now when I want to get close to the model, I can just lean in and I can bend at my waist a little bit, but I'm standing. I'm not bending over at a harsh angle.
Right.
It just works so much better. I keep the desk height at where my elbows, when my arms are dropped to my sides, where my elbow height is, which is about 48, 49 inches. And then I can just lay my arms at the bend of my elbow down to where I never even have to have any of my hand muscles working or anything. I can just set the model in my hand. It makes ergonomics fantastic for painting. I highly, highly recommend.
I'm going to use the restroom.
If you can, if there's any hope, I would get a standing desk and start painting at a standing desk.
There's no hope.
It's just the right solution.
There's no hope.
He's still yelling there's no hope as he walks to the bathroom. You hunch over like some sort of goblin? Yeah. Well, it's just when you're sitting and you're trying to get close to the work, you either have to do like what he said and bring the work to your face, but doing this requires you to have your shoulders bear the load, as opposed to most of us sort of putting our arms on the table and letting the load be carried by the table and then leaning into the model. And then that does your neck and shoulders a horrible work. So I don't like it. After doing it for 40 plus years, I was like, nope. We built the standing desk more for the stream, and the way the stream was working, we wanted to try standing desk back at the old house. This is long, long ago, back, geez, Jen, that was 2016. So yeah, nearly 10 years ago we built standing desks, because we moved here to this area in 2017 and we already had the standing desk. So yeah, that's crazy to think about. What am I doing? What am I doing here, chat? I'm mixing paint. Do I want the color that I just got, or am I doing the wrong thing here? I got some khaki out, and I mixed it with the dark golden brown, thinking that this could be a good color for my bone bits here. Oh yeah, that works.
Looks like he's still painting.
Well, you were gone for an hour.
Forbidden Coffee Miniatures. I have a lightning question.
Lightning! It comes from the ground.
I have a Call of Cthulhu kind of themed vignette of a detective walking through a library with object source lighting from some goo on a windowsill.
I love it.
I considered this project done, but now I feel the rest of the colors are too bright in comparison to the object source lighting. Is there anything I can do after the fact to tone down the brightness? Or should I reprime and start over?
No, I don't think repriming. I mean, anytime I hear this, it's more of an adjustment of values, which is always a struggle in a model that has a lot of different lighting sources vying for attention. So I never say jump to conclusions and repaint it. That's kind of the defeatist way to look at it. I think toning those colors down by maybe glazing their base coat colors over them again, and then, working on what that light source from the goo, if that's the one that's overpowering, working that back in, or brightening your other light source, right? Because you said, what's the OSL from? A lamp?
Goo.
I
Object
thought you
source
said
lighting from some goo on a windowsill.
Call of Cthulhu kind of theme vignette, detective walking through a library with object source. Oh, the object source lighting comes from the goo. You consider this project done, but now you feel the rest of the colors are too bright in comparison to the object source lighting. Yeah, darken them up. One thing you can try to do is take... Black may not be the answer because it depends on the environmental colors. If you've used a palette, like in Victorian times, of more browns for bookcases, leather clothing, whatever it is, then maybe you could take a mix of black and brown wash and do all the parts away from the model in a black and brown wash to kind of desaturate the coloring and darken it up, and then see if that works. Or you can go back and glaze each part with its constituent base coat color. Or if you had a unifying base coat color, you could do it on there. You could literally just take, black wash and do it, but that'll gray the colors out a little much. Mm-hmm. But going back away from the OSL and darkening the whole model uniformly is a great way to do that. If you can putty off the OSL and use an airbrush to do a filter consistently on the whole model, that works really well. And then where the filter came up to the OSL, just go back with the OSL color and blend it into the filter that you did that darkened up the rest of the model. That'll save your whole model. And sometimes that's the way I like to paint OSL, is paint the model like it's in sunlight, put the OSL on the model, and then darken the model around the OSL.
This is the way. Droth, the defeatist, like when Chris told me to throw my model away yesterday, you just throw it away. Start over. Buy another one.
That's why you don't talk to Chris.
Take your model, garbage.
I should have asked better questions on the interview.
What's your favorite color? Green, you're hired.
I take full responsibility. Green, you're hired.
Here for a long time.
Go back up. There was a question about... I'm planning on finally doing your Legion Stormtroopers. Want to get my hand on bright slate gray. Do you have any suggested underpainting for clean, bright white armor with the one step?
What about just black and white?
The black and white is probably the best. This was just white with the bright slate gray over it. And so you can see how it gives you kind of that bright stone color. And then you can use a heavier dry brush of white over it. I put a light dry brush of white just to give you the sense of it here. But a heavier dry brush of white would look great. It gives you good shadows, good, clean, consistent, white. And then with a heavier dry brush of white or a heavier glaze of white over the top or just layer painting of white over the top, you'll get exactly what you want. But I think white is the answer.
Would you start from black at all, or just prime white and hit with one step?
I start all my models with black. And then if I'm using one step, I put a bright zenithal on top, either white or...
I think the white zenithal would look good for those troopers, Zilfer.
Oh, this is still about the troopers?
Yeah, I think they would.
Yeah, the black. I would do black and then white.
Because then it would get into the black and give you a really
much better shading that way.
Give you a really cool shadow.
Much better shading that way.
Scorched Earth, take it easy. Well, Duty calls him off. Take it. Thanks for a great stream, and thanks for the small escape from the daily stress. I appreciate it all. Take it easy, Scorched Earth.
Hey, thank you.
Appreciate you. It is the after hours portion of stream, so anything goes.
Do I have a meeting?
Yeah, you do.
I do?
Yeah. It's with me.
Oh, it is.
And it's happening right now.
Okay, so I don't have a meeting.
You do have a meeting.
I do?
Yeah. It's on your calendar.
What is it?
It says, money, 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 win-win. Get money, get paid, meeting with Chris. After hour stream, TBD. I don't know who set that meeting, but it's happening right now.
So I don't have a meeting.
You do technically not have a meeting. You technically do. This is your meeting, Jason.
I don't know what to think, chat.
Spaznat, great comment here. You have a meeting with chat. Perfect.
I may or may not have a meeting.
How many people... I wonder if I can do... I wonder how many Google emails I can attach to one invite on a meeting.
Oh, Jesus.
Get the 20,000 followers we have on Twitch, along with our hundreds of thousands of you now who want to watch us. I'll send out a Google invite. Perfect.
Great. I don't
Can you
think,
imagine that?
I don't think Google allows for that many people in the call.
Hey, just I would like to publicly say this. If you're out there and you work for Google, I would like to request that you can
fix this.
That you can do a 5-minute meeting on Google Calendar and have it be a little itty bitty sliver, please.
Why?
Because I want it. I don't need an explanation. I do. Wait a minute. No, I need 5 minutes of your time, and it needs to be scheduled. Me saying to my meeting attendee, but I don't need it to be 15 minutes. You know?
Oh yeah, God forbid have to put a 15-minute thing on the schedule so that you can then finish 10 minutes early.
I know, because I don't want to do that to my people. Right? 5 minutes. That's how it goes. I got to get my little sliver meetings back, Jason. Just for you.
You've never had them.
I did. I used to have them on Fridays. Every single day, I'd come in there.
Oh.
5-minute meeting sounds like a scam. Vipus, I am all about the fast meeting. The explanation of the meeting is longer than the meeting. Now you're getting it, Panic Bomb. Now
Yeah, I was going to say, it's like we spend more time saying what we're here to discuss than we do discussing it.
No, I would be like, hey, here's the meeting review. Great, thanks. 5 minutes, Google. Let's go.
He thinks this is efficient.
I think people would like that. Some things you can't do over email, Droth. That's the whole point.
What can't you do over email? Shake hands.
There you go. That's reason number one. 5-minute meeting sounds like one of Chris's stripper names. Sidious, now you're getting it. Now you understand the stream.
5-minute meeting.
Can't shake hands over a digital meeting. That's right.
Khaki was the right choice.
Hey, if you are just now tuning in, welcome.
Welcome.
You have come at the most fortuitous time. We are in the after hours portion of our stream. And we're excited for you to be here. Jason's painting up the Lord of the Hunt. And by Lord of the Hunt, I mean
Lord of the Hunt.
The Prince of Occasional Occurrences.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of this model right now. I love the model, but I did not play it very well.
Did you not play it very well, or do you think the model's not balanced?
No, I think it's balanced. I think I was the problem. 100% I was the problem. I think that this model doesn't have a place in that list. Because that list has too many other models that need corpse help.
Yeah.
And this guy does too. So it puts me in a weird position when I have to be able to give this guy corpses in order for him to really go off. But I also need corpses on 2 of my other models. So I gave him to the other 2 and not him, thinking he would generate them on his own. And then he rolled pathetically. I rolled great. He did not roll so good. So that's my story. I'm sticking to it.
Panic Bomb says, Chris, how do you feel about khaki? How do I feel about khaki? Great question.
Why is it so hard for you, Chris?
How does one feel about a breath of fresh air, or a well-lit room?
Oh boy!
Or
I need to tell you something about Chris real quick. What he just said is hyper important. He said, "How does one feel about a well-lit room?" And I want to introduce you to the king of ambient lighting.
That's right.
This man, if he is saying that he likes khaki or thinks of khaki in the same even vicinity that he thinks of a well-lit room, it is high praise.
That's right. I have a method. You have to set the tone. Khaki sets the tone. I would probably say this about every pro acrylic color, but right now I'm just talking about khaki. So there you go. I'm all about a well-lit room.
I find that surprising that you brought it up like that, because that's high praise.
That's right. I do like khaki.
I give him crap about it, but he is like the king of lighting a room.
You just you got to get it all set, man. You know?
It's about mood.
Little accent there, you know? Too much lighting and it gets too much. You know?
Very profound.
It's all about the shadows. I like the shadows.
Very profound.
Chris really lit up a
Christopher.
room.
Yeah, Chris did.
Uh-oh. I did.
He really did. Like, literally, Chris lights up a room.
That's right.
He does it very proficiently.
See, now,
If you need a room lit up, call Chris.
I thought about the... I at one point had many, many, many candles. Not smelling candles. Right,
Oh,
but like
here we
light
go.
candles,
Chris
but
had a closet of witchcraft, just
but
like
I'm
Jen.
not- I'm not
I
that
knew
kinda
they
guy.
liked each other for a reason.
I'm
There's a big problem
if
here.
I could totally light my house with candlelight efficiently, I would. But
Oh my
it's
God.
very inefficient.
When I met Chris, or when I met Jen,
Yeah.
Jen had an entire closet full of candles.
Like just burning
And,
candles.
and I knew that was why I felt so attracted to her, because of the voodoo doll and all the witchcraft that she was doing with the candles in the closet.
Candles are good.
I was like, I've never felt like this before. Could this be love? And then all of a sudden I was like, oh no, it's just witchcraft. I see this whole closet and a drawer full of scissors, so that when I found out about the witchcraft, the threats began.
Ryan says C- is the Pope of the Church of Ambient Lighting. That is correct. Thank you, Ryan. Brother. That's the name of our little Discord channel here in the office.
The Church of Ambient Lighting.
That's right. Come in hither. You gotta set it up, man. That's all I recommend to all of you. Is there a movie on HBO about this called Obsession? There's a movie, Mo. Does Chris dip his own candles? I'm not there yet.
He said yet.
I spend most of my extra free dollars on models or gardening.
That is probably the best combo I've ever heard somebody dictate how their expendable cash flow goes.
Yeah.
It's either to toy soldiers or plants.
Yes. Gardening at 110 degrees. That's yes. Double T. I was out there all weekend. Luckily, my patio is really cool because it only gets morning exposure, which is freaking awesome. Here in Arizona. So I just moved all my plants now this last weekend. I repotted a bunch of stuff in these hanging pots. I went smaller this time so they have room to grow. We'll see if they live. It's so hot.
That's the problem. It's so hot.
If you have to water them once a day to get them started, and then all of a sudden they won't. So you kind of have to baby them. So it's kind of a crapshoot if they live or not. But you can return them if you get them at Home Depot, if you keep the container. Question, do you have a distributor for the paints in Australia
Yeah.
and New Zealand? Asking for a friend.
Yeah. We do have a distributor. Retailers in New Zealand, I'm not sure who in New Zealand carries the paint. The distributor, in terms of when we say we have a distributor, we have a company that imports all of our product and then sells it to retailers. So they're a middleman company. You can't go straight to them as an end user, but they do exist. And Gap Games and the Combat Company are big retailers of ours.
I don't have painted gnomes, Spaznap, but I do have gnome armies. I have that Blood Bowl team. Which are actually really dope models. The gnomes are really cool. I also have the halflings.
Are they
surprise, surprise.
Garden gnomes?
The Blood Bowl gnomes?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're like traditional gnomes. They did a great job with those.
Do they have like pointy hats?
Yeah, have you not seen these, Jason?
Oh my god, that's great.
Check this out. Okay.
Are these the one that Shelby got?
Yes, and then she never did anything with them, but then I bought
So you
them
jacked
from
them
her.
from her?
No, I bought them. I don't steal.
Tell that to the stuff he steals from me.
Name 7 things.
Well, okay.
Name 7 things. I want to hear them, mister.
My car. My heart.
Well, shoot, I did steal his car. He's got a point.
He's got a point.
Oh, Jason, I'm so excited to show you these and get your reaction real time. Hold. It's the after hours portion of stream. We can do whatever we want. I'll get to your questions. Hold. This is so important for Jason to see. Jason,
Yeah, what?
look at these guys.
Oh, those dudes are pretty rad.
Dude, they're so cool.
What's on their heads?
They're little,
Like branches?
yeah. They all have beasts and
Oh,
stuff.
the little badger's really cool.
Yeah, these are cool models.
Oh, yeah, fun. They're tiny, I bet. Look at the...
No,
it's like
they're a little bit bigger than the halflings.
That's got to be like a 25 mil base.
It's a 32 mil base.
Oh, okay.
They're a little bit bigger.
Okay.
They're bigger than the halflings.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
But yeah, look, then they have foxes as
Oh,
their
the
runners.
fox with the ball, yeah.
And then
the
that's
goose.
That's their main,
Oh my
like
God,
their
that's
big
great.
guys.
That's great.
Anyway,
Very
it's
fun.
a fun team.
Yeah, those are fun.
They did a good job with that. No free pub for them.
Yeah, no free pub for those guys.
My buddy really wants the No Blood Bowl team. Hey, I'm your buddy, Ryan, and I have it. So I don't know who you're talking about,
Wow, Ryan.
mister. They're very cool. Cool models.
Did you forget that Chris was also your friend?
No. My son. My boy. It's your stream. You can already do whatever you want. Gilborn, that's correct. And after 4 o'clock, legally we can do whatever we want.
That's not...
The city of Phoenix has given us a 30-minute grace period here to do whatever we want.
That's not true at all.
It's kind of like, what's that one movie?
The Purge?
Yeah. We have the Purge for 30 minutes here.
This has become very, very scary to me.
Well, you just made it past the 30-minute mark, so it turns off. Player to be named later. Miguel, how are you? Jason,
Hi.
do you make a mental note of where you're going to highlight or just look for areas to highlight as you highlight? Miguel, what an astute question, mister.
So the way that I paint leaves I paint from dark to bright. So the bright part of the model is typically, I've set it up through my sketching where it's going to be. So like if we look on all of these branches or these bones, you can already see some highlight lines.
Yeah.
And so I just go in and re-highlight those same bright lines. So I already know where the brightness is going. So on the hair, same thing, you know.
Yeah.
So it already has a bright side and a dark side. So I just stick to the bright side and put my next highlight on the bright side in a smaller amount so I don't cover the previous color. Same with like the cloak. The cloak's got shadows and highlights, and I just go with more bright color where the highlights already are. In most cases, there's times where you switch that if you want like more reflections and things like that. Like these bones, I'm making sure, or these antlers. Sorry, these antlers, I'm making sure that I get the striations even in the shadow area just to give them the texture, and then I'll go brighten these same lines that I'm doing right now a little bit more on the highlight side if I need to make them even brighter. Does that help answer the question?
Yeah.
That's why painting from dark to light is, in my opinion, one of the best methods to learn, because it keeps you on track for making sure that your highlights are always headed in the same direction towards the point on the model that should be brightest. And you set that up either in your head or with your base coat sketch. Because I will go in and sketch bright and dark on the model initially in a lot of cases, either with the airbrush with a what we call a zenithal highlight or by hand.
Very helpful. Where'd you guys go eat today? Miguel,
Aho Owls.
if you did that, I
I
will be so upset.
Well, we went to Aho Owls.
Did you really, mister?
Yeah, Miguel yesterday was like, "What do you like?" I said, "I love Mexican food." And he goes, "How about Aho Owls?" And because he suggested it, I was like, "Heck yeah, man!
Are you lying right now?
Why would I lie to you?"
Because you do that sometimes.
Miguel, tell him.
Miguel, did you betray me, brother?
Miguel had the
Brother.
chimichanga at Aho Owls.
Did you guys go to Aho Owls?
100%.
What? Oh no! Oh, my heart. Oh.
I don't know why he doesn't trust us the first time, Miguel. Like, he says we're his people, and then he's like, "You didn't, did you?"
Oh, I'm faint. Where did you get the STLs for the pigs?
Straight from Privateer Press. Or not Privateer Press. Oops. Steamforged Games.
Oh.
When you join their My Mini Factory, right?
Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. You're talking to me. I'm sorry. I was so in a haze just now.
He feels slighted because we went to his favorite restaurant without him.
Ryan's like, let's go to Aho House, Christopher. He's
Ryan's always sticking up for you, Ryan. I know who pays the paychecks.
That's true.
Ryan, you better choose sides carefully, buddy.
Ryan, it's okay. I know where your heart is. Let me go.
You should let me go. The drama. What a drama queen.
Just let me go.
What a drama queen.
First of all, I've never been more upset in my entire life. Second of all, I got the pigs from my mini factory, and they're great. I freaking love how they're actually coming out. The scheme, I'll just let all of you know, the scheme that I've come up with the javelina style, I've really nailed down and have been really liking the weathering pigments. This is the first project where I've started to incorporate weathering pigments, and I think I'm just going to start doing that with everything now, like every mini, because they're just so fun to use, and it just works so easily just to bring the environment up. I don't know how to describe it, but
especially with earth tones like those
so
pigs,
good.
right? That
Oh
just
my gosh,
immediately
yeah.
creates a situation where you've got like great fur feeling and all that.
I'm talking about the War Machine Thornfall pigs, Alberto. They're just great. Plus, I've been actually really liking this little not dried. I like our dark crimson. I like blood effects. I think they're fun, right? With a dry brush where I'll stipple it on. So I've been giving them little blood effects too. They've been coming out pretty good.
I think on the pigs that's great.
I think it's fun. I've been really enjoying them. Now that I know how the army plays, and I think this color scheme and all that is just fun. So
It's a fun army.
yeah.
They made the minions with the Thornfall and even the Gator posses. They made that a lot of fun.
Yeah.
You could tell they had fun back in the Privateer Press days when they made that. They just had a neat kind of vibe to them.
Yeah. Midas is not like doing some research. He's not the best warcaster for them, but I really like bringing the pigs back from the dead.
Well, it's a great ultimate. It's a great ultimate, and it's a thing that your opponent knows is going to happen.
Yeah.
They can't stop it, and they just got to prep for it. So I think it's a good question to ask. And nobody's going to tech just for Midas.
Right.
Unless it's, one of us that just plays you all the time and we troll you on a Friday night to say, "Guess what I'm playing, Chris? The anti-pig list."
Yeah.
But I don't think anybody's going to do that.
Yeah.
I think especially not in the day of the boogeyman with Jordan and the people who are going to be playing that list, because right now everybody's going to be trying to figure out how to tech against the new stuff.
I'm coming after you, Jordan. I know you're out there. You're going to get baconed.
You're going to get baconed.
That's right.
I want to see the pigs play the vampires.
Oh, is that what he's running?
Yeah, and what I've determined with the vampires is you need something with a very long drag. So you need to play Grimkin with a 10-inch drag from the house.
Oh, I need houses? What?
You need to. Well, the house I think only has a 3-inch drag, but it has a gun.
No,
it has a 12-inch gun
Yeah.
that it can drag 12 inches. Not drag, but it will compel them if there's no models in the middle.
Well, I have been enjoying 3D printing.
Because the only way you're going to kill his caster is if you can drag it away from everything else. So that's the only tech I've been able to figure out that's like, I feel like that might work.
Yeah, we'll see. I might end up getting those. We'll see. Yes, Alberto, we've definitely played. I like Blood Bowl. It's a fun game if you're not being serious about gaming. And then when you get serious with Blood Bowl and you try really hard, it just does whatever it wants.
It literally does.
It really does. I honestly
It goes on. It goes on. Hey, have you ever heard of Murphy's Law? Let me show you about Murphy's Law.
It's
Whatever
very-
can go bad will. Let me show you. It works like
But
this.
then you can throw your halfling like down the field and get a touchdown. That was very satisfying.
It is one of the most narrative games. I have always had to concede that, man, when it works so well.
Yeah.
Because I can just imagine, like, when they came out with a video game and you have the crazy announcers.
Yes.
I don't know if you've ever seen that.
I have.
The crazy announcers are fun, and it plays into that narrative very well. It's just on the table. It is the most annoying game in the history of annoying games.
It is very annoying. You have to go into it knowing do your best, but nothing's gonna happen for you.
You can't have expectations in Blood Bowl.
Yep.
You can hope for the best, expect the worst. That's the only thing you can do with Blood Bowl.
I-
And it will meet that expectation
And
every
I, for,
time.
I, for one, love the Blood Bowl models. Like,
So many of them are so good.
That's
Even like
why.
the little dwarf ref and stuff like that. They did with the belly showing and stuff. They
Yeah.
have such good character. So the trolls and the ogres and stuff are always fun. And there's a lot of third-party armies that are even better than the fun GW ones.
yeah, they're, oh my gosh, yes. I printed off some,
I saw a really cool vampire one that was third party the other day when I was looking at one of the social media things, and it was amazing. It almost,
yeah,
I'm not gonna lie, it almost got me to buy a Blood Bowl army.
yeah.
Just because I was like, ooh, those painted up would look really cool. I'd never paint them, but you get me.
There are Thornfall pigs from War Machine. That's what we're talking about. Somebody was asking. There's some trained trolls that I found that are more like mushroomy. So I bought those for the Snotlings and I printed them. It's looking pretty good.
What do you think of my antlers? I think the antlers look good.
I'm so stoked after the first game I got 2 more Blood Bowl teams, says Ryan. I know, you liked it, Ryan. I knew you would.
I think that's a good quitting spot. We got a lot done.
Yeah.
The real quick, the bronze yellow on the antlers with just a khaki overpaint, I think is perfect. Right? I didn't even do any of, like with the skulls, I did the bone over the skulls. They were the olive yellow. So those 2 one-step colors I think are like great. And they give you a variance, right? Because the olive yellow and the bronze yellow next to each other, skull to antler, still gives you a good contrast. But I think it works really well. And then, maybe if you wanted to later on, we could do like a slight brown wash on the skulls or something like that if the rest of the colors tend to wash them out. But I think for now, I don't even have to worry about it. They look really good. And then we would just highlight more. I always stop at this stage when I'm going through figuring out color for different layers of things on a model, like a fantasy model that has so many different textures.
Yeah.
I typically go base layer, mid-tone, maybe one highlight, and then stop. I don't finish your highlights yet in most cases because you're going to want to let the model see how bright it wants to get against this like white gray fur.
Yeah.
I still have to do like the spears and the quiver and all that stuff, the armor on him and all that, but it's coming along. I really like it. It's a fun model. It's pretty good. I need to do the red
Yeah,
hair.
Alberto, my hobby is painting board game figures and also Blood Bowl ones. Yeah, they're fun. They're fun models. Cool.
Thornfall pigs from War Machine, yeah. All right, everybody.
Did you even use my membership number?
And I'll know because you don't give it to us. You don't share those things.
It's just my phone number.
You mean 602?
No. I know. Good thing it doesn't start with 602. I've never been more depressed in my life.
Then why?
My friends.
This was Miguel's day. Don't make it about you.
I don't want it to be about me. I just wanted to be a part of the happiness and mirth, the merriment, and the festivities, and so on and so forth. You know,
Miguel, I'm really sorry. 8675309.
yeah, I'm sorry. too.
Christopher got your number. I'm gonna make you mine.
I'm sorry too, Miguel. It's never been this bad.
Chad, I would like for you to all take a moment of silence for the drama that Christopher is pouring out on the curb right now. Depressed Chris goes hard. Yes.
Have you guys ever seen a dark cloud over your house before?
This one just follows him around.
This is what I'm experiencing right now.
So the problem is when anybody that you know has such an easy button to press, right? That you know you can just go to a restaurant that's actually pretty good. You can go to a restaurant, and then all you know the whole time you're eating, you're having a great meal with one of your coworkers that's been here for a year. We're celebrating his 1-year anniversary. Me and Miguel are having really enriched conversations. I'm sure. And the whole time I'm thinking, I get to go back and tell Chris we ate it all.
Yeah, I know. I knew you would, too. This is why they do it, to get my reaction.
I asked him because I thought that he put you up to it, and he said no.
Oh.
So
it's even worse.
That's the way it goes.
It's even worse. Chris needs to raise a cane stat.
Does he like chicken buttholes? Chicken finger buttholes? That's what Gabe calls it. I don't know why.
Because it runs through your butthole?
Oh!
I guess. I don't know.
What?
I don't know, man. I'm too depressed to know.
All right, chat. We have to go so that we can let Chris get some get away from his depression.
I'm gonna fast now. I have a 3-day fast.
Everyone, thanks so much for watching some paint dry with us. Chris and I really appreciate you.
We do.
We got quite a bit done. The skulls and the antlers and stuff are looking good.
He's looking great. Hey, if you are
It's funny, the shadow side has more detail on it when you're looking at it than this side does, I think. It's because I haven't painted the axes or the spears. When you go to the shadow side, you get the full-blown cloak and all that. So the shadow side actually, even though it obscures his face, is actually the detail side.
Hey, if you guys are in the Gen Con area, Indianapolis, we are having a pre-release of set number 2 for Pro Krill One Step.
Yep.
So make sure you grab yours, and we'll let you guys know this week more information about that. So definitely, if you're in the area, go get some. It's free, right? You can go to Gen Con for free.
You have to buy a ticket, and the ticket covers everything in the door, and I think it's like $130.
Okay, gotcha.
I think the pass is like $130 or something like that.
It's a big show
for the full. I think the $130 might be the 3-day pass. I don't remember a 4-day pass. I don't remember. I'm not the one to talk to. I don't know. They sell day passes too, but yeah, if you're going, it's well worth it because there's a ton of stuff there. So enjoy. Tell Gabe hi. Kick him in the shins if you see him.
Take a picture. He's got Wizard's butt there, too.
He does have Wizard's butt there. And the one-step set, too.
Yep.
So, everybody, thanks so much for hanging out with us. Welcome to all the new people. If it's your first time here, scooting around the internet and just wandering in here, we apologize. Now you're hooked. So, please hit that follow or that sub button. Join us as we do this Monday through Friday from 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. Monument Standard Time here in Phoenix, Arizona. We'd love to see you back. Also, check out all the links that Chris put up in there for our Discord. Over 7,000. I keep always saying over 7,000. Have we reached 8 yet?
No, we're at 7,400 something.
7,400 amazing artists just like yourselves. So come join in on all the shenanigans and tomfoolery we do over there, as well as a great place for getting inspired and just picking up your hobby spirits. If you feel like you're not painting, jump in the Discord, talk to people about painting. There's always somebody live and running around in there. Get you back on track. Good to have you. It's definitely not a cult. We are not a cult.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Never heard of it. Don't even know. You're making words up. Don't even know what you're talking about.
I don't know what you're talking about.
But make sure to keep up with us. Make sure to check out monumenthobbies.com, monumenthobbies.eu. Get yourself some Pro Krill paints, Pro Series brushes. Work the magic on your own gray models. Follow along with us here, or just scoot off on your own.
That's right.
And we love having you. Make sure to stick around. Chris is going to find us somebody to raid, so show some love in the channel we wind up in, and enjoy your hobby throughout the rest of your Tuesday evening. We'll catch you back here tomorrow. Adios, gang.